Family cultivation. My mobile phone traveled through time. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 251. The Worried Old Father. As a father, he can give his son the opportunity to choose, but he will not make the choice for his son. In front of Lufan, there are two choices, two life paths. The first path is to choose a comfortable life, to enjoy delicious food and wine, to have more than a dozen beautiful wives and concubines, to live a safe and stable life, which can be said to be extremely happy. To enjoy these, you must give birth to more offspring for the family. 10 or 8 are too few, and the number must be at least more than 100. The second path is the path of fighting and killing. It is either cutting people, or on the way to cutting people. There is no time to enjoy delicious food, no mood to enjoy beautiful women, no leisure to rest, constantly fighting, constantly killing, destined to a life of suffering. In theory, the lifespan of key training is 120 years. The lifespan of foundation building is 240 years. The lifespan of purple mansion is 480 years. The lifespan of golden elixir is 1000 years. And the lifespan of transformation is 2000 years. But in fact, more than half of the cultivators cannot live to the end of their lifespan, nor can they sit and die when their lifespan is exhausted. They are often cut to death on the way, with no complete corpse, and even their bones are refined into some magic tools. The former is the path of mortals, living a comfortable and happy life. The latter is the path of cultivators, killing and bloody. Lufan was silent for a long time, and asked after a long time, "Father, which path do you think I should take?" "Faina, you are already an adult, and it's time to make a choice for your future." Xuanji said, "The future path will eventually require you to walk it yourself. How far you can go, and how bright your future is depends on you. I can only help a little. But father, I only have 5 spiritual roots. With my qualifications, is there still hope?" Lufan said, "Taking the path of the devil, you can achieve foundation building, purple mansion, and even golden elixir. But my mother does not allow me to take this path. If I take this path, my mother will kill her relatives for the sake of justice. If I take the path of the devil, I can only run away from home." Xuanji said, "Son, look at this." He opened the storage bag and motioned to take a look. Lufan was curious, and his mind entered the storage bag and immediately saw the mountains of spiritual stones. There were too many of these spiritual stones, like mountains, continuous. "Father, how many spirit stones are here?" 10 million spirit stones. "Is this the family's property?" "No. These are some treasures I got from an adventure outside." Xuanji said, "In this world, there is nothing that money can't solve. If it can't be solved, it means there is not enough money. With these, do you think it is still difficult for the 5 spiritual roots to achieve enlightenment?" Lufan said, "If these resources are handed over to the family, more cultivators can be cultivated for the family. If they are handed over to my eldest brother, he will become stronger." Haha. Xuanji sneered. "The most taboo thing for a patriarch is selfless dedication, which will destroy the family's rules of clear rewards and punishments. What's more, the family's income and expenditure are balanced, and there is a lot of surplus every year, so I don't need to pay for it. In the family's accounts, the family still owes me 2.3 million spirit stones. As for your eldest brother, he is very talented and doesn't rely on me, his father. Let him be self-reliant." "Father, is it worth it to throw all these resources on me?" Lufan said. "It is not impossible to achieve enlightenment with 5 spiritual roots, but the resources consumed are 5 times or even 10 times that of a cultivator of the same realm. But in actual combat, can one fight 5 or 10 at once? It is simply impossible. Cultivating 5 spiritual roots is a big investment with little return. It's worth it. You are my son." Xuanji said, "In society, doing anything is about investment and return. Only the love of parents for their sons is selfless, and they pay attention to low returns, or even do not ask for any return. Although the 5 spiritual roots are useless and rotten wood, there is still a possibility of change. In fact, it's okay to be a mortal body. As the saying goes, a blank piece of paper is good for painting. I have some means to change your destiny. First, you can refine the 5-element pill and transform your spiritual roots. The imbalance in the size of the spiritual roots will become balanced, and the state of mutual restraint will become a state of mutual generation, which can increase your cultivation speed. Second, I can build a pseudo-Tao body for you. Although its growth potential is limited, and its power is not as good as the real Tao body, it can still increase your cultivation speed. Third, I have a top grade elixir here that can speed up your cultivation. Of course, I give you a lot, but I ask more of you. If you can't meet the requirements, some resource supplies will be cut off. Son, do you still want to choose the second way? Son is unwilling to be ordinary. Lu Fan said. Okay, then you should do your best. Lu Xuanji said, I don't care what you say, I care what you do. Next, it depends on how you perform. After saying something else, Lu Fan left with joy. As a father, I worry too much. Lu Xuanji smiled bitterly, with a hint of bitterness in his eyes. When he tested his spiritual roots, he was extremely afraid that he would become a 5 spiritual root. Fortunately, he was lucky enough to have 3 spiritual roots, which was considered excellent. With the mobile phone, to deduce the appropriate exercises and the resources of his family, he was able to achieve the foundation and pass the most difficult period of his life. After the foundation was established, he successively refined many auxiliary magic weapons, was appreciated by the Golden Ancestor, was recruited as a son-in-law by the Yi family, and then obtained the pure Yang Dao body, Yin and Yang transformation, etc., and his life entered the takeoff stage. After arriving at the Purple Mansion, he had many adventures, obtained the Great Wish technique, obtained the treasure of Hanai's engine, double cauldron alchemy, the void treasure box, the favor of the golden immortal, etc., and his life entered a stage of rapid development. But he didn't expect that his son would encounter such a situation. The mobile phone kept deducing and concluded that the 5 spiritual roots were really useless. The heavenly spiritual roots are the strongest because they are pure and efficient in absorbing spiritual energy. 1 day of cultivation is equivalent to 20 days of cultivation for ordinary cultivators. Such a fast speed is very beneficial for the aspiration for the great Dao. On the contrary, cultivators with 5 spiritual roots will have attribute conflicts, and the mutual restraint is like crabs in a bamboo basket. If there is only one crab in the bamboo basket, as long as the exit of the bamboo basket is tightly covered, the crab can be prevented from escaping. If there are more than 2 crabs in the bamboo basket, there is no need to cover the exit of the bamboo basket, and the crabs cannot escape. Because if a crab wants to escape, the other crabs will pull it down. As a result, no crab can escape, so there is no need to cover the top of the bamboo basket. The heavenly spiritual roots and the 5 spiritual roots are the same. Lu Xuanji sighed. As for those who say that the 5 spiritual roots have good talents and great potential, they are just ignorant of cultivation. They think that big is beautiful and more is better. A cultivator who practices 10 techniques is more powerful than one who practices 1 technique. A cultivator who practices 10 supernatural powers is more powerful than one who practices 1 supernatural power. Chapter 252 5-element pill, 5-element balance, 5 spiritual roots. The cultivation speed is very slow, and it takes a lot of resources. In the later stage, there are also dangers such as attribute, conflicts and key explosion, and the future is bleak. Of course, 5 spiritual roots are not a dead end. There is still a glimmer of hope. In his memory, there are 2 ways. The first way is to take the 4th grade fortune fruit, which can transform the 5 spiritual roots into 3 spiritual roots. If you take the 5th grade fortune fruit, it can be transformed into 2 spiritual roots. The second way is to understand the principle of the mutual generation of the 5 element and the transformation of the 5 element, and balance the 5 major attributes to form the mutual generation of the 5 element. The first method is not advisable. The 4th grade fortune fruit is not very meaningful, and the 5th grade fortune fruit is too expensive. There is only the second way, the mutual generation of the 5 element. The first step is to balance the 5 element. Lu Xuanji thought. In terms of his son Lu Fan's spiritual root qualifications, wood is 5 inches, water is 2 inches, gold is 1 inch, fire is 1 inch, and earth is 1 inch. In terms of his attribute matching, the wood attribute is the highest, the water attribute is second, and the others are average. The imbalance of the 5 element leads to conflicts and mutual restraints, just like 5 crabs in a bamboo basket, restraining each other and making slow progress. The only way to improve the attributes of spiritual roots is to use the 5 element pill. The 5 element pill comes from the ancient sword island, and is recorded in the memory of the pure yang sword spirit. In the ancient sword island, there are different attributes of the exercises, which need to match the corresponding attributes. The Liangai Sword Sutra requires 2 spiritual roots, the Sankei Sword Sutra requires 3 spiritual roots, the Sixiang Sword Sutra requires 4 spiritual roots. But when the disciples of the Sword Island found that their spiritual roots were insufficient, they took the 5 element pill to transform their spiritual roots, giving them more attributes, and the natural spiritual roots became 2 spiritual roots, 3 spiritual roots, 4 spiritual roots, and so on, so as to match the exercises and practice the subsequent exercises of the Sword Island. The 5 element pill requires 18 kinds of medicinal materials. Some of the medicinal materials are available in my Lu family, but some have to be purchased from outside. Lu Xuanji thought, and summoned the elders of the Den Hall. The elder of the alchemy hall looked at the recipe, nodded and agreed, and went down to collect medicinal materials. In less than 3 days, all 18 kinds of medicinal materials were collected. This is the benefit of relying on the family. If a casual cultivator wants to refine a furnace of elixirs, he needs to go outside to find elixirs. Just looking for medicinal materials will take 3 to 5 months, but with a big force behind him, Lu Xuanji does not need to go out to find materials in person. He only needs to greet the people below to collect the medicinal materials. He urged the pure yang true fire, started the heaven swallowing cauldron, and began to refine the elixir. The 5 element pill is only a 4th grade elixir, and it is not difficult to refine. It only took 3 days to open the elixir furnace, and the 7 pills inside were flashing with brilliant light. Summoning Lu Fan, Lu Xuanji said, "Son, take this pill and see the situation." Handing over a pill. Yes. Lu Fan did not ask anything and took the pill directly. Then, he began to refine the medicinal power. Lu Xuanji's mind flashed, and he began to observe the changes in his son's spiritual roots. What is a spiritual root? The root of spirituality. All living things have souls, and souls have corresponding attributes. Some souls are close to water, which is a water spiritual root. Some souls are close to soil, which is a soil spiritual root. Some souls are close to fire, which is a fire spiritual root. Many cultivators have mixed and impure soul attributes, mixed with multiple attributes. This mixed and impure nature affects the speed of cultivation. Only the heavenly spiritual root has a pure soul and pure attributes, which is most conducive to cultivation. At this moment, in his divine observation, in his son Lu Fan's soul, Cyan occupies half, followed by the most black, and white red yellow, etc. are mixed together. But after taking the 5 element pill, the medicinal power began to penetrate into the soul, changing the proportion of various colors, and white, red, and yellow are increasing. After an hour, the medicinal power was digested. At this moment, Lu Fan's spiritual root attributes are 5 inches for wood, 3 inches for water, 3 inches for gold, 3 inches for fire, and 3 inches for soil. Then, after taking the second pill, the soul attribute changed again. When he took the third pill, Lu Fan felt a buzzing in his head. Wood is 5 inches, water is 5 inches, gold is 5 inches, and earth is 5 inches. The 5 elements are balanced. Lu Xuanji thought again, and handed over the 4th pill. Lu Fan ate it, but there was no change at all. It still maintained wood as 5 inches, water as 5 inches, gold as 5 inches, and earth as 5 inches. Is it the limit? Lu Xuanji frowned. It was like a person could only be given 2 bowls of rice, and the 3rd bowl had to be eaten no matter what. Obviously, the limit of his son Lu Fan's spiritual root was 5 inches. This shackle, his son could not break it at all. Practice, see your speed. Lu Fan nodded, and began to practice the exercises. The speed increased a little, but the improvement was not obvious. In the past, it was the speed of 5 spiritual roots, and now it is still the speed of 5 spiritual roots. Son, try the transformation of the 5 element. Gold produces water, water produces wood, wood produces fire, fire produces earth, and earth produces gold. Lu Xuanji said. Yes. Lu Fan nodded and tried the 5 element mutual generation. Woohoo. Suddenly, spiritual energy surged, and the speed was accelerating. In terms of speed, it was comparable to 3 spiritual roots. Father Lu Fan said excitedly. Now the cultivation speed is comparable to 3 spiritual roots, much faster than 5 spiritual roots. If you want to compare, 5 spiritual roots are like a human walking, and 3 spiritual roots are like riding a horse running. Sure enough, the 5 element mutual generation is not as fast as the cultivation speed of the heavenly spiritual root, it is only comparable to the 3 spiritual roots. Lu Xuanji thought, and sighed in his heart. It's like 2 college students, one only needs to study 1 major, and the other has to study 5 majors. In the case of similar IQ, after 5 years, the former is better, and has a higher level. If that student finds the connection between the 5 majors, no longer studies them separately, but turns them into a whole, the speed will be faster, but still not as good as the former. This is the 5 element sword scripture, which can be cultivated to the late nascent soul stage. As for how far you can go, it depends on your luck. Lu Xuanji pointed his finger and passed on a book of 5 element skills. This is a sword technique. In Jiandao, there is a peerless genius, whose qualifications are not inferior to Chunayang Daojin, Liangai Daojin, etc. This genius created the 5 element sword scripture, and advanced all the way. When he reached the late nascent soul stage, he failed to create a method, and went to extinction. This skill can only be cultivated to the late nascent soul stage. After the late nascent soul stage, if there is no way ahead, it depends on Lu Fan to continue. Son, thank you father. Lu Fan said gratefully. As for the late nascent soul stage, there is no way, he will not think about it, and he can't think that far. The future is too far away, and the present is too close, so think about the things in front of you. Lu Fan went down. Lu Xuanji was thinking about how to transform his spiritual roots and his physique. Chapter 253 Yuan Yi enters the fake bill. In the cave, Lu Xuanji was thinking and making deductions. My realm is too low, and I have no power to understand the origin and truth of my physique, and I have no power to transform my special physique. The heaven sacrifice cauldron is mysterious, and it can actually transform my physique. Lu Xuanji thought about it, and thought of the heaven sacrifice cauldron. The heaven sacrifice cauldron cannot directly transform the physique. The heaven sacrifice cauldron is the medium for the cultivator to communicate with the heavenly Dao. The cultivator sacrifices half of his own luck to the heavenly Dao, which resonates with the heavenly Dao, and then the heavenly Dao descends special power to help the cultivator transform into a Dao body. Such cases are suitable for cultivators with strong luck. As for ordinary cultivators, their luck is average. Even if they sacrifice half of their luck, the heavenly Dao is too lazy to respond, and they will only lose their own luck in vain. In Yuanjin's top memory, in the long history of Yuhuman, there are many cultivators who sacrifice their own luck, but few get responses. This is also why Lu Xuanji decisively gave up, and did not let his son Lu Fan go to the heaven sacrifice cauldron to sacrifice his luck, because his luck was too bad. How did the history of special physiques come about? One comes from the inheritance of parents, and the other comes from the transformation of heaven. Many times, parents are mortals, but their sons have special physiques. Maybe the parents have special physiques, and the sons just inherit someone's physique, or are just mortals. Of course, cultivators can use some top-level spiritual objects to transform themselves into special physiques, but those top-level spiritual objects themselves are rare and precious, and can only be encountered by chance. After thinking about physique, he thought about spiritual roots. A series of data appeared in the mobile phone, all of which were data from the spiritual root examination of the Lu family in the past 1,000 years, involving about 30,000 people, including 2 heavenly spiritual roots, 3 second spiritual roots, more than 500 third spiritual roots, and the rest were 5 spiritual roots. He kept calculating these data and comparing them with himself. A cultivator with a 10-inch spiritual root has a soul power 5 times that of his peers. His talent is almost the ceiling of the world. Over the years, the ancestor Lu Fuming, the spirit of the Yuhua Tower, and the spirit of the Chunayang sword failed to take over my body, but instead helped me and improved my qualifications. My spiritual root is 9 inches and 9, and my soul strength is 4.8 times, but it is still inferior to the heavenly spiritual root. Lu Xuanji pondered. Comparing the heavenly spiritual roots, he felt that the heavenly spiritual roots were not simple. For a cultivator with a heavenly spiritual root, as long as he was not too useless, it was not difficult to condense a high-grade golden elixir, and the probability of achieving the nascent soul was also very high. For other cultivators, it would take a lot of effort to condense a high-grade golden elixir. Time passed, and life returned to stability. Sitting in Changyuan Mountain, Lu Xuanji instructed his 2 sons, handled miscellaneous items in the family, planted spiritual medicines, and cultivated the fruit trees of good fortune. Everything was in order. 5 years later, in the cave, the aura was changing, and the aura on Yuanai was changing, entering the realm of false pills. After about a moment, the aura was restrained. Lu Xuanji stepped forward and said, "Congratulations, madam, for entering the realm of false pills. It's all thanks to my husband, thanks to my husband's yin-yang transformation," Yuanai said, with a blush on her face and a hint of shyness. Her comprehension was obviously insufficient, but in the process of having a double rest with her husband, she used this technique to get close to the avenue, found a trace of aura for transformation, and entered the realm of false pills. "Wanai, why don't we have a fight?" Lu Xuanji said excitedly. "Alright," Yuanai said. When they arrived at the martial arts arena, the formation blocked the surroundings, and the 2 of them fought together, without using magic weapons, but only using magic to compete. After about a moment, the battle was over. In the confrontation, Lu Xuanji also had a preliminary understanding of the combat effectiveness of the false pill cultivators. The fake elixir cultivator only initially transformed the true essence into mana, but his combat power was more than doubled. At the moment of battle, he could defeat 3 of his previous selves before the breakthrough. "Husband, I'm going to retreat and practice hard for a while, to transform the true essence in my body into mana," Yuanai said. "This is for you," Lu Xuanji said, handing over a storage bag. Yuanai took the storage bag and just took a look at it. She felt dumbfounded. In the storage bag, there were 100,000 middle-grade spirit stones. The value was too expensive. "Husband, this is too much," Yuanai said. "It is a bit much, but if not, how can you be qualified to condense the golden elixir?" Lu Xuanji laughed. 10 jazi of mana, this is the minimum standard for condensing the golden elixir. If you can't even reach 10 jazi, you are not qualified to condense the elixir at all. I estimated that, even if you transform all the true essence in your body, you will only have 2 jazi of mana, which is a long way from 10 jazi. You don't plan to rely on hard practice to accumulate 10 jazi of mana, do you? The mana of 1 jazi here refers to the total mana accumulated by the false elixir cultivators who practiced hard on the 4th grade spiritual veins for 60 years. In other words, relying on life to survive, the false elixir cultivators must practice hard for at least 600 years to accumulate enough mana to impact the golden elixir. But Yuanai's remaining lifespan is only more than 120 years. Hard practice has no future. At this moment, spiritual medicines, spiritual pills, spiritual objects, etc. are needed as auxiliary to help the cultivators condense 10 jazi of mana. If the false elixir cultivators have enough medium-grade spiritual stones, the accumulation period can be shortened. In a very short time, accumulate 10 jazi of mana. My husband, this is 100,000 middle-grade spirit stones. With these spirit stones, I'm sure that I can accumulate enough mana for 10 jazi in 10 years. Yuanai said. This is the power of Krypton gold, the difference between having money and having no money. If you have no money, you need to practice hard for 600 years to accumulate 10 jazi of mana. If you have money, you only need to retreat for 10 years to accumulate 10 jazi of mana. The speed is fast, but it is expensive. Mana accumulation of 10 Gyasi is just to condense a low-grade golden elixir. Accumulating 20 Gyasi of mana can condense a middle-grade golden elixir. Accumulating 30 Gyasi of mana can condense a high-grade golden elixir. Lu Xuanji said, "You are my wife, you must at least condense a high-grade golden elixir, and only a high-grade golden elixir is qualified to impact the nascent soul." Lu Xuanji said, "My requirements are not high. I will refine these middle-grade spirit stones, and accumulate 30 Gyasi of mana within 30 years. Okay, I'll try." Yuanai nodded. "Husband, I'm going to retreat. I still want more. Do you want it? Then let's continue." The love was burning, like a boiling flame, entangled in a continuous battle, which lasted for 3 days, before it was declared over. Later, Yuanai retreated. Wanai is a little bit in danger. At most she can condense a middle grade golden elixir, but if she doesn't push herself, how can she know how great her potential is? Lu Xuanji pondered. Aiming for the best, you get the middle. Aiming for the middle, you get the worst. Wanai, don't let me down. Chapter 254 Goodbye Jinzi, Emperor Liu Jiang. Walking out of the cave, sensing the breath of the elder has also entered the 9th level of the Purple Mansion. But the remaining lifespan is less than 60 years. The remaining 60 years are not enough to enter the golden elixir. The elder's lifespan is not much, and it is also difficult for Wanai to cast a high-grade golden elixir. Lu Xuanji thought, greeted the monks at home, and disappeared. About a quarter of an hour later, he landed on Xiang Mountain. The mountain did not change, and the people did not change, but the breath changed greatly. I saw that the 7 nearby mountains were connected to the underground spiritual veins, like a sleeping dragon, and they also led the power of the sun, the moon, the stars, etc. in the sky, and landed on the big formation. After the transformation of the formation, it turned into a gentle power that could support the monks to practice. It was just a short 10 years since I last saw it, and the situation here has changed dramatically, as if it had changed the world. Just approaching, I felt a rich spiritual energy. Caring about the spiritual energy outside made him feel comfortable. As if sensing something, the formation automatically cracked open a gap, and a beam of light fell, landing on Lu Xuanji, and then Lu Xuanji disappeared. The void changed, and when it appeared again, it was already in a cave. In the cave, there was a woman sitting on the bed, with crystal skin, long hair fluttering, a light body, eyes like gems, and curved eyebrows, exuding endless charm. The dress fluttered, with proud curves. The graceful body rose and fell, with endless charm, but at this moment she was angry. "Xuanji, why did you come just now?" Jinzi spoke. Her voice was gentle and pleasant, but it was filled with a hint of murderous intent. 10 years. Do you know how I have been through these 10 years? I once saw mortals say that a day without seeing each other is like 3 years. At that time, I laughed at mortals for being ignorant, but now I know the pain of missing you. The exquisite dice are filled with red beans. Do you know how deep my longing for you is? Zia, I miss you too. Lu Xuanji stepped forward, hugged Jinzi directly, felt her beautiful body, smelled the faint fragrance on her body and said, "These years, I have also missed you. The endless feelings, the unforgettable dreams, I also miss you, and the days when we depended on each other. I just finished dealing with things at home, and I came to see you." Xuanji leaned in his arms, with countless complaints in her heart, but at this moment, they disappeared. Many times, she doesn't need a reason, she just needs an explanation. Even if this explanation is very fake and naive, she still believes it one-sidedly. "I missed you. I missed you too." They were so affectionate, their clothes were loose, and they didn't know how long it had been, and they were tidying up their clothes. Jinzi said, "You can stay here." "Okay." Lu Xuanji said, "Do you have any longevity pills here?" "I don't have any here." Jinzi said. "What a pity," Lu Xuanji thought to himself. "But I have longevity herbs here, you can use them to make pills." Jinzi smiled again. "Thank you," Lu Xuanji said, and kissed him again. "Xuanji, you don't need longevity pills." Jinzi smiled. The Great Elder has less than 60 years left to live. If there is no longevity pill, it is almost impossible to achieve the golden elixir. Lu Xuanji said. because some people think you are a burden. If you were not worried about them, you might have achieved the golden elixir by now. Xuanji sighed, looking a little disappointed. If you want to live forever, you are doomed to be lonely and a tragedy. It's better not to have such longevity. Xuanji said with a smile. There were cultivators who ascended to heaven with their entire dynasties and religions. I don't have such a great spirit, but it is possible to favor some close people. Xuanji said. Xuanji, do you know why I like you? It's because of your loyalty and righteousness, and because of your reluctance. When I was in the Jin family, the feelings between cultivators were very weak, and they were only maintained together by interests. But in you, I saw affection and love in the world. When I'm close to you, I feel safe. Xuanji had a tender face, and her right hand went forward to touch his face, as if to engrave his appearance again, to engrave everything. After the joy, the two stood up, packed their clothes, and returned to their normal appearance. Opening the cave, Xuanji was in front, and Xuanji was slightly behind. Walking in Xiang Mountain, the two walked and talked about love. The space within 3 meters was sealed to prevent the words from leaking out. Their feelings can only be kept secret for the time being, and cannot be leaked to others. They are in an underground love affair. Feeling the spiritual energy here, the spiritual energy is more concentrated, 3 times that of the Lu family's spiritual energy. Not only that, the spiritual energy also carries a trace of wonderful activity, which is absorbed faster and more gently. After entering the nascent soul, I spent more than 10 years to build a 5th grade formation. At present, there are 3 formations surrounding Xiang Mountain. One is the Liangai Shengmo sword formation, which can attract the yin and yang energies and evolve into a killing force to suppress the nascent soul cultivators. One is the sun, moon, and stars formation, which can draw the power of the sun, the moon, and the stars in the sky and transform them into gentle power to temper the cultivator's body and physique. One is the dragon transformation and soul nurturing formation, which can attract the underground spiritual veins to gather together and gradually turn into a 5th grade dragon vein. Xuanji was very excited and talked about some formation layouts in Xiang Mountain. 3 formations, a killing formation, a gathering spirit formation, and a star formation, all of which are 5th grade. A single large formation is nothing, but if 3 large formations are superimposed together, the lethality formed is huge enough to endanger the lives of cultivators in the late nascent soul stage. This is a terrifying thing about formation masters. In the world of immortal cultivation, formation masters can continuously increase their combat effectiveness and kill powerful enemies with the help of the spiritual veins of the mountains, the power of the sun and the moon, and the power of the myriad laws of heaven and earth. After 10 years of operation, this place is as solid as a rock. If you want to break through here, you need to pay a huge price, which is enough to become a nightmare for many cultivators. Walking and walking, they entered the vicinity of the medicine garden. Xuanji opened the formation and the two entered it. Entering the medicine garden, Xuanji immediately felt that the atmosphere here was different. Under the transformation of the formation, there was a trace of purple mist here, which turned into water droplets and scattered on the ground, appearing crystal clear and bright, and seemed to have a unique charm. Chirp. At this moment, a fist-sized insect flew out of the spirit beast bag and happily absorbed the purple mist. This is the Emperor's paddle. Xuanji looked at the purple mist and couldn't help asking. It is the Emperor's paddle. Xuanji said. In the Chaos Hall, there is a formation that can transform the power of the stars into the Emperor's paddle. I carved the formation in the medicine garden. Chapter 255. Gold devouring bug enters the golden core. Purple mist permeated the medicinal garden like a dream, exuding an intoxicating atmosphere. There were purple water drops sprinkled on the leaves of the medicinal herbs, dotted with stars, and the brilliance was charming. After absorbing the purple water drops, the medicinal herbs in the medicinal garden grew particularly lush, the leaves swayed, and the flowers were particularly enchanting. Carefully observing the age of these medicinal herbs, the youngest has been 1,000 years old, and some medicinal herbs have been tens of thousands of years old. Those purple water drops are the Emperor's flowing juice. The Emperor's flowing juice, the supreme sacred object of the demon race, can transform the power of the sun, moon, and stars into a special spiritual liquid with the help of the supreme formation. It has few benefits for the human race, but it has great benefits for the demon race. It can help the little demon grow, awaken the spiritual wisdom, and strengthen the origin of life. It can also promote the growth of spiritual medicine, and shorten the age. If there is enough emperor's flowing juice, a spiritual medicine of tens of thousands of years old can grow in just 1,000 years or even 100 years. Chirp. The gold-eating insect cried, absorbing the purple mist around it, and cried very happily and happily. Tasting the delicious food, it kept flying up and down, like a happy little bee. Interesting, you are willing to spend money to cultivate it to the peak of the purple mansion, but it seems to be of little use, just for cuteness. Xuanji smiled, pointed his finger, and a violent energy hit the body of the gold-eating insect, and the golden insect immediately fell into a purple lake. It is called a purple lake, but it is not right. The area is at most the size of a wash basin. Falling into the purple lake, the golden insect was calling happily, and absorbing the nutrients in it. Strengthening the life source of the insect. The purple water surface was constantly falling, and then turned into a golden cocoon, and sank to the bottom of the lake. Originally, the golden insect was at the peak of the purple mansion, at the edge of evolution, but it was difficult to take the last step. But after absorbing the emperor's flowing slurry, it entered the edge of evolution. The life source was slowly transforming, and the life essence was improving. Walking in the medicine garden, I saw nirvana flower, longevity grass, heavenly spirit grass, pure yang grass, golden body grass, transformation spirit grass, etc. The age of these spiritual herbs is more than 5,000 years, and a few spiritual herbs are more than 10,000 years. After taking 132 kinds of medicinal materials such as longevity grass, heavenly spirit grass, and creation fruit, I entered a nearby cave, and began to refine pills, and began to refine longevity pills. 10 days later, the heaven-swallowing cauldron was opened, and there were only 6 pills. Because of the lack of control, some medicinal materials were scrapped, and the pill yield rate was somewhat reduced. 5 longevity pills were given to Xuanji, and 1 was left, and put into the pill bottle. Under Xuanji's arrangement, a cultivator took the pill to the Lu family, and gave it to the Lu family's elder. The 4th grade longevity pill can extend the life of a purple mansion cultivator by 100 years. This is the first time to take it, and the first time is the best effect. The second time can only extend life by 50 years, and the third time can only extend life by 10 years. If it is the 4th time, there will be no effect. The elder had less than 60 years left to live, but after taking the first longevity pill, he still had about 150 years left, which was enough to reach the golden elixir realm. Then, he began to refine other pills, the 4th grade nirvana pill, the 4th grade pure yang pill, the 4th grade purple mansion pill, and finally the golden elixir. The golden elixir has a huge auxiliary effect on the cultivator's golden elixir, and can increase the probability of reaching the 3rd level. There are 3 sets of medicinal materials for the golden elixir. The first time it failed completely, and the medicinal materials were scrapped. The second time it was only successful, but only 1. The third time, 3 were successfully refined. The difficulty of refining the golden elixir is a bit high. Next is the creation pill. The creation pill needs to be refined with the 4th grade creation fruit as the main material, which contains the power of creation. If a cultivator with 5 spiritual roots takes it, he can become a cultivator with 3 spiritual roots. If a cultivator at the peak of the purple mansion takes it, it can expand the volume of the danshan, increase the capacity of the cultivator's danshan mana, and increase the upper limit of the cultivator. In his estimation, Yuanai's danshan can accommodate up to 15 jazi of mana, which is her limit. It's like a water tank that can store 100 kilograms of water. If you add more water to it, it will only overflow. The good fortune pill can increase the capacity of the water tank, and increase the amount of water in the water tank. With the experience of refining pills before, the success rate of the pill is increasing when refining the good fortune pill. There are 9 pills in total, and Xuanji asked for 3. He blushed for the first time. The price of a good fortune pill is 3 million spirit stones, and 3 pills are 9 million. Although there is a hard work fee for refining pills, it is more for Xuanji to help him. After reaching the 4th grade, most people do not lack alchemists, but lack top-level spiritual medicines. Just like this, he kept refining pills, practicing while refining pills, and it lasted for 3 years. These refined pills were stored by Xuanji in the medicine gourd, which can keep the medicinal properties of the pills for 200 years without losing. As for 200 years later, the new medicinal materials are mature again, and new pills can continue to be refined. At the beginning of the 3rd year, accompanied by a violent noise, in the purple lake, the golden cicada pupa began to break apart, accompanied by the flash of golden light, and a fist-sized bee flew out, flashing a trace of terrifying breath. The breath has broken through the bottleneck of the purple palace, and entered the golden core realm. The gold-eating worm broke the shackles of race and the limit of life, becoming a golden core monster. Open the formation, move the gold-eating worm to the outside of the formation, and begin to survive the golden core tribulation. During the heavenly tribulation, lightning struck down one after another, and then it was gone. Too weak. Xuanji was speechless. The thunder tribulation of the gold-eating worm was pitifully weak. The first heavenly tribulation was only as powerful as a 9th level of foundation building. It kept climbing, and the 9th heavenly tribulation was only as powerful as the 2nd level of the purple palace. Heavenly tribulation, pitifully weak. After surviving the heavenly tribulation, the gold-eating worm also became a golden core monster. After only 40 years of cultivation, it became a golden core monster. This speed is fast enough. As for its combat power, it is a bit horrible. The combat power of the gold-eating bug in the early stage of the golden elixir is only the 3rd level of the purple mansion, which can be called the weakest golden elixir monster in history. Its existence has lowered the bottom line of the golden elixir monster. This cannot be blamed on it, but the lower limit and combat power of the bugs are too low. The insect master, who controls the bugs to fight, also relies on quantity, not quality. It's too weak. It takes so many resources to cultivate it into a golden elixir monster, but it can't help you much. Xuanji persuaded tactfully. Indeed, its combat power is a bit poor. Xuanji nodded. Looking at this golden bug, I thought of the Xianmeng ice silkworm of Daoluo, the only million-year soul beast, but in the 3rd scene of combat power, it is at the level of 100,000 years, which can be called the soul beast with the worst combat power, no one else. But there are also advantages. The Xianmeng ice silkworm is too weak, resulting in the weak power of the heavenly tribulation. It can easily survive the heavenly tribulation, and grow into a million years. As for those soul beasts with strong bloodlines, most of them fell under the heavenly tribulation. Sometimes, being weak is also an advantage, because the weak are favored by the laws of nature, while the strong are suppressed by the laws of nature. Chapter 256 The Beast Tide returns. Squeak. With the golden light flashing, a fist-sized bee landed on his shoulder. Xuanji reached out and stroked the golden bug, feeling its body change. There was a stream of mana flowing inside, and there was a golden elixir in its body, which could also be called a demon elixir. The gold-eating bug was already a golden elixir demon beast, and the mana in its body was only a 60 years. Its combat power was somewhat bleak. It was known as the weakest golden elixir in history, but it was a golden elixir demon beast after all. With the help of the changes of this bug, we can better understand the secret of the golden elixir. As the gold-eating bug's cultivation level improved, and its life source evolved, its combat power would continue to improve. It was impossible for it to be so weak all the time. Squeak. The gold-eating bug called out, turned into a stream of light, and went into the bug bag to rest. The bug's IQ was improving, from the infant state to the 3-year-old state. From the muddle-headed state, its size had a little more agility, and the gold on its wings was increasing. Snap. Snap. The bug was gnawing, but it quickly ate 2 grams of fairy gold, and then fell into a deep sleep. This is a life of insects, eating and sleeping, sleeping, and eating. This is a cultivation career of insects. If humans want to advance, they can't just rely on eating, but also need to constantly temper their magic power, polish their flesh, polish their souls, and improve the essence of life. All of this is difficult and complicated, but insects are much simpler. They only need to keep eating and sleeping to advance. As the gold-eating insects advanced, Xuanji was in a good mood, and the shackles of his body were broken, and his cultivation level was raised to the 8th level of the purple mansion. Snap, snap. Along with the changes in his body, a series of powerful forces surged, washing his flesh, washing his soul, and tempering his true essence. The area of Danshan was expanding, the meridians became more tenacious, the physique and blood were undergoing a drastic transformation, and the whole body exuded bursts of fragrance, like a great medicine for the human body. Refining key, building the foundation, purple mansion, golden pill, etc. are coming step by step. Not only is the cultivation level and combat effectiveness improving, but also the origin of life and the essence of life are improving. This gap will continue to widen as the cultivation level increases. Monkeys and humans seem similar, but no human will regard monkeys as the same kind. Similarly, foundation building cultivators will regard key refining cultivators as the same kind, but yuanying cultivators will not regard key refining cultivators as the same kind, as if they were looking at a group of ants. This gap is not only in terms of cultivation and life level, but also in reproductive isolation. When foundation building cultivators and key refining cultivators combine, they will give birth to children. But when key refining cultivators and purple mansion cultivators combine, the probability of giving birth to children will continue to decrease. But when key refining cultivators and golden core cultivators combine, they will definitely not be able to give birth to children. The 3-level gap in cultivation level has long formed reproductive isolation. Congratulations, you have entered the 8th level of Purple Mansion. Xuanji smiled. Congratulations. Xuanji smiled and said, you are still at the 1st level of yuanying. I don't know when you can advance to the 2nd level of yuanying. After yuanying, it takes hundreds of years to advance to each level, and this is still under the condition of sufficient resources, excellent comprehension, and fewer bottlenecks. If you encounter unexpected situations, it will take even more time. Xuanji said, after you reach the nascent soul stage, you should try to walk your own path and create your own skills. Even if you lack the talent and understanding to create your own skills, you can still practice the skills of your predecessors. You should also delete, edit, and recreate the skills of your predecessors to make them suitable for you and your own path, instead of blindly copying them. After the nascent soul stage, the speed of practice will be slower. Fortunately, the lifespan of a nascent soul cultivator is 2000 years, and there is a long time to find his own path. Nascent soul cultivators can even pry open the laws of heaven and earth, enter reincarnation, and live another life. There is no regret medicine in life, and once lost, it is lost forever. But after reaching the nascent soul stage, you have the right to regret. In Xuanji's eyes, Xuanji has a monstrous talent, and will definitely enter the nascent soul stage in the future. It is not a big problem to know these things in advance. Xuanji asked about the precautions for forming the elixir, the experience of the golden elixir, the experience of the nascent soul, etc. These are all blank areas in his field. The spirits of the Yuhua Tower and the Pure Yang Sword have rich memories, but they don't have the relevant knowledge of these low-level cultivators. As magic weapon spirits, they have the ability to combine with the Tao when the magic weapon is born, unlike human cultivators who practice step by step and are extremely lacking in experience. Xuanji talked about experience, including the experience of the Jin family's predecessors and his own experience. Boom boom boom. At this moment, Xuanji felt the ground shaking and saw that the distance was shaking violently, as if thousands of troops were galloping, and the huge sound wave resonance swept everything. What happened? Xuanji asked. A beast tide occurred. The beast tide that occurs once 100 years has erupted again. Xuanji said. The 100 years here is just a general term, not a specific one. It will not be stuck at the time point of 100 years. It may erupt once in 90 years, once in 120 years, once in 150 years, or even once in 190 years. Xuanji walked out, and Xuanji followed closely. When they reached the top of the mountain, they saw dense monsters, monster wolves, monster rabbits, monster mice, monster cats, etc. Monsters of all sizes came out and gathered together. The number was endless, and the number was already tens of thousands, like a tide that submerged everything. Beast tide, submerging everything. Xuanji worriedly said, I want to go back to the Lu family. Xuanji stepped forward and comforted, I have already said hello. Nothing serious will happen to the Lu family, but people will die. Xuanji said, how many monsters were dispatched in the beast tide? I don't know, and those Yuanying demon kings don't know either. It may be tens of billions, or hundreds of billions, or even more. Xuanji said, every time the beast tide comes, it is launched by the Yuanying's engine of the human race and the Yuanying Yao Huang of the demon race. Both sides use the beast tide to vent their emotions. The human race and the demon race can fight each other, refining key, building foundation, purple mansion, golden elixir, etc. All levels, fighting and bloody battles, plundering treasures, killing enemies, without rules and restrictions, completely falling into chaos until the beast tide ends. In the beast tide, the demon emperor used the beast tide to clean up the excess population of the demon race. After all, mice, rabbits, wild boars, elks, etc. are too fertile. There are 5 or 6 births a year, 7 or 8 children per birth. It's just that the demon race gathers for 100 years, because there are too many demons, causing a population crisis, and they can't afford it at all. You can use the beast tide to eliminate the excess demons of the demon race. Secondly, there are fierce conflicts among the demon races. The tiger race and the tribe, the cat race and the rat race are constantly in conflict, and they are almost mortal enemies. It's just right to find a common enemy for the demon race, to divert the internal conflicts of the demon race. Third, we can use this disaster to cultivate some geniuses of the demon race in the fight between life and death. Of course, it is also good for the human race. The human race can use this beast tide to kill the demon beasts and obtain cultivation resources. They can also use the beast tide to kill those hostile families, to avenge their enemies and to repay their grievances. They can also hone the geniuses of the human race. The geniuses who come out of the fight are more powerful than those flowers in the greenhouse. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 257. Kill one step at a time. Kill 10 demon kings in a row. Standing on the top of the mountain, her dress fluttered, her skin was as white as snow, her body was shining with precious light, her eyes were like stars, and she looked like an immortal in the sky. In Xuanji's vision, countless monsters attacked the villages, sacred mountains, towns, etc. of the human race. The human race also used formations to hunt monsters and obtain resources. The earth was like a huge chessboard, with the monsters as white pieces and the humans as black pieces. Black and white were mixed together, devouring each other and drowning each other. War was no longer a war, but a game of chess. The human race's true lord placed chess pieces on the chessboard, and the monster king placed chess pieces on the chessboard. The chess pieces of both sides collided, countless chess pieces were destroyed, and countless chess pieces appeared. In the past, she was also a chess piece on the chessboard, but after proving the Yuanying, she jumped out of the chessboard and became a chess player. Sensing the huge chessboard in the fight of countless chess pieces, her expression was calm, not happy with things, not sad with herself. It was like the way of heaven exterminating all living things, without a trace of emotion, without a trace of ripples. It was like someone playing a game on a computer, and thousands or tens of thousands of soldiers died in the game. Would someone be sad and shed tears for the death of the soldiers in the game? Not at all. The mind was rising, entering the state of forgetting both the self and the world, and in a trance, entering the state of forgetfulness, the state of unity between heaven and man. A trace of understanding of the great way was flowing. A trace of the mystery of heaven and man was rising and falling in the heart. After a long time, Xuanji opened her eyes and looked at the man beside her. A trace of warmth flowed in her heart, and her mood was falling from the state of forgetfulness, falling into the world of mortals. Zia, I'm going to fight. Xuanji's fighting spirit was boiling, and he said, it's been a long time since I fought against the demons, so I'm a little rusty. Okay, I'll wait for you. Xuanji said, as if she thought of something. A drop of blood appeared on her finger, and she touched Lu Xuanji's forehead, and a sword-shaped mark suddenly appeared on his forehead. What is this? Is there any benefit? Feeling the sword mark on the forehead, it seemed to be just an ordinary mark, not the kind of explosive secret technique that could burst out a fatal blow. This sword-shaped mark is just an ordinary mark, without any attacking power. The only use is to prove that you are someone I protect. Those Yuanying demon kings, giant and demon kings, etc. will not attack you. The cultivators who attack you are at most purple mansion demon kings. Xuanji said calmly, having a strong backer in the world of immortal cultivation can prevent some people from being unethical and bullying the weak. If you die in the hands of purple mansion demon king, I will not avenge you. That's enough. Lu Xuanji nodded and went forward to hug her. Xuanji struggled for a moment and then leaned on his arms. I'll wait for you. Wait until I come back. After the lingering, Lu Xuanji said goodbye and left, leaving Xiang Mountain and heading for the beast tide. Looking at the figure disappearing in the beast tide, Xuanji's mind was swaying, as if a wife was watching her husband leave. Boom boom boom. Lu Xuanji's footsteps flashed and descended into the beast tide. The cultivation of the 8th level of the purple mansion emanated, and the terrifying aura repressed the beast tide. Suddenly, the beast tide was shocked, and many monsters subconsciously separated and made way. In the beast tide, key training monsters, foundation building monsters, and even weak purple mansion monsters all subconsciously dodged and avoided him, fearing his strength. Although the monsters were fearless, they were not looking for death. Lu Xuanji's footsteps flashed, and he moved forward along the middle road. He chose to ignore the monster groups on both sides, as if they were air, and did not take them seriously at all. Disdain is one reason, and another reason is fear of cause and effect karma. Why is the evil path so fierce and so deadly? In the early stages of cultivation, the evil cultivators often slaughtered towns and cities, killing thousands or tens of thousands of civilians, stepping on countless corpses, and embarking on the path of cultivation. These karmas and causes and effects will continue to accumulate, making it difficult for the evil cultivators to sense the way of heaven and enter the state of unity between heaven and man. At the moment of proving the golden elixir, the disaster is extremely fierce, and almost 10 out of 10 will die. Boom boom boom. At this moment, a demon king in the distance felt the breath here and turned into a stream of light to rush over. This is a mixed blood kunpeng, with silver scales flashing on its body, and its wings spread out, causing the raging wind to surge and sweep, turning into a stream of light to rush over. When it approaches, it turns into a human form, and the long sword in its hand shakes, making a buzzing sound, as if thousands of bees are fighting with their wings. The stream of light on the long sword flashes, turning into a star-like divine light, slashing towards Lu Xuanji's body. Bang! Lu Xuanji waved his hand and hit a palm. The palm collided with the long sword, which kept bending, and shattered on the spot. How is it possible? Said the mixed blood kunpeng in horror. A bloodline appeared at the neck. Yuan's heavenly sword slashed through the void, and a head flew up. The body was changing, turning into the original kunpeng, and the demon body of about 10 feet fell to the ground. He opened his mouth and swallowed it, entering the stomach of the void. The stomach was wriggling and digesting this kunpeng. A trace of life essence flowed throughout the body, transforming into a trace of life source. The potential of the flesh was improving, and the physique was slowly becoming stronger. Another part of the life essence was transformed into true essence, entering the danshan, precipitating, and turning into the next step of nourishment. The first kill was completed. Raw. At this moment, another demon beast pounced on him. This was a white wolf demon beast. The battle broke out. When the battle lasted for 3 moves, Lu Xuanji slashed out with a single sword, and the white wolf monster died. It swallowed another monster, and refined it with the help of the void stomach. After walking 100 steps, the third monster came forward. This monster was a white tiger. Whether it was a fighting consciousness or a fighting instinct, it was powerful and terrifying. After 100 moves of fierce fighting, Lu Xuanji finally slashed it. But the price was not small. Before dying, the White Tiger Monster King activated the White Tiger 7 killing sword and pierced his body with the sword. Blood was scattered on the ground. It was also the first time he was injured since the battle. But later, he operated the heavenly wood method, to absorb the power of the surrounding plants and trees. Suddenly, countless plants and trees withered, but the wounds were visibly recovering. Roar. At this moment, a mixed blood green dragon appeared and urged the divine siege to attack Xuanji. This green dragon was very smart. It obviously saw that Xuanji was injured and wanted to come forward to take advantage. After 30 moves, he was killed by Xuanji with one sword. His fighting power was much worse than that of the mixed blood white tiger. Another demon king came up, but he killed him. He killed 10 demon kings with one step. Boom boom boom. Xuanji continued to move forward at a very fast speed. The beast tide was afraid, and the demon beasts subconsciously avoided and made way for a path, but with limited space, countless demon beasts collided with each other, causing chaos. Chapter 258, Golden Crow Demon King, Malay. On the battlefield, blood scattered into the void. The ground was dyed red with blood. In the distance, there were broken corpses, including key refining monsters, foundation building monsters, and the broken corpses of a few purple mansion monsters. These monsters were not killed by Xuanji, but were killed by the aftermath of the battle. Although Xuanji disdained to kill low-level monsters, if low-level monsters could not dodge in time and were affected by the aftermath of the battle, they deserved to die. Xuanji stood on the ground, his white clothes stained with blood, and his whole body was full of murderous aura, like an unparalleled killing god. There was no monster within a radius of 30 miles, and they all avoided it from a distance. A trace of fear flashed in his wild pupils. In the battle just now, some monsters were affected by the battle because they were too close and were suppressed and killed on the spot. After killing 10 demon kings in a row, Xuanji was only slightly tired. He practiced his skills, and the spiritual energy immediately entered his body and was quickly refined, turning into a trace of true essence. The lost true essence was recovering rapidly. Kill. Xuanji took a step forward and rushed towards a purple mansion demon king. The purple mansion demon king was horrified and dodged, but he was a beat slower and was beheaded by a knife and killed on the spot. There are no mortals in the purple mansion. Whether it is the human race or the demon race, those who can enter the purple mansion realm are all geniuses. Among the human race, the cultivators who have entered the purple mansion realm are either second level spiritual roots, or different spiritual roots, or 3-level spiritual roots that are evil and against the sky, or cultivators with great backgrounds, or cultivators with great opportunities. In the demon race, the purple mansion monsters are also an elite class. They have the blood of ancient beasts and powerful innate magical powers. One by one, they are evil and against the sky. Among the demon race, the number of key refining monsters and foundation building monsters is several times or dozens of times that of humans, but after reaching the purple mansion realm, they have dropped on a large scale. Only the evil monsters can enter the purple mansion. If it was a normal moment, when Xuanji killed a purple mansion monster, a golden elixir monster would come to fight him. But with the beast tide coming, order collapsed and fell into chaos. Xuanji could kill purple mansion monsters at will, and killed 10 purple mansion monster kings in a row. But the golden elixir and the yuanying of the monster clan all chose to acquiesce. Taking advantage of this opportunity, it is just right to kill more monsters. 100,000 mountains. There is a luxurious palace, made of white jade bricks, supported by green sacred trees, surrounded by clouds and mist, like a dream. On the palace, there are 3 big characters. The Demon King Palace. In the center of the palace, there is a huge topographic map, on which a black piece and a white piece are fighting each other, constantly melting and disappearing. Around the cauldron, there were tall and majestic figures sitting, some men and women, some with a breath like flames, some with swords soaring into the sky, some with murderous aura, some with Zhengjin killing, some with endless waves surging, and some with shadows that could not be seen clearly. The Golden Crow Demon Emperor, the White Tiger Demon Emperor, the Kunpeng Demon Emperor, the Black Phoenix Demon Emperor, the Azure Dragon Demon Emperor, the Azure Lotus Demon Emperor, the Blood Knight Demon Emperor, etc. About 13 Demon Emperors sat here, looking at the map, where countless chess pieces were fighting. Among the demons, the key refining was cannon fodder, the foundation building was the demon general, the purple mansion was the demon lord, the golden pill was the demon king, and the yuanying was the demon emperor. The Yuanying Demon Emperor was the ruler of the demons. Of course, there were more demon emperors in the 100,000 mountains. There were other Yuanying demon emperors who would attend such a banquet in the future. Some were traveling, some were practicing in seclusion, some were refining in seclusion, etc. And they did not come for various reasons. Kaba. At this moment, the Demon King Kunpeng frowned, feeling the throbbing of his blood. A descendant had fallen. Unlike the high-level cultivators of the human race, the fertility rate was low. The demon race put fertility first, and began to give birth to offspring in the key refining realm, from the foundation building, purple mansion, golden elixir, to the current nascent soul. In the 3,000 years of his life, the Demon King Kunpeng gave birth to about 3,500 offspring, some of whom had great potential, and some of whom had average qualifications. Sons gave birth to grandsons, and grandsons gave birth to offspring, generation after generation. In this 3,000 years of history, there are about 300,000 surviving offspring. Most of the offspring, because of the distant relationship and large number, the Demon King Kunpeng had little feelings for these offspring. But if some offspring with strong blood and strong qualifications attracted his attention. I have a descendant, who is about the 8th level of the Purple Mansion, but was killed by a human prodigy, said the Demon King Kunpeng. The fallen genius is not really a genius. It seems that the descendant is a bit useless. The Golden Crow Demon King laughed and said, the beast tide is originally an elimination contest. In my perception, 18 Golden Crows have fallen, including 8 Purple Mansion Demon Lords and 10 Foundation Building Demon Generals. Sensing the death of his descendants, the Golden Crow Demon King was calm, as if a few strangers had died. Not only that, my descendant was also a genius ranked 52nd on the Demon Lord list, but he fell at the hands of a Purple Mansion Xuanji of the human race. Kunpeng Demon King said. It turned out to be a Xuanji of the demon race. If he met a Xuanji of the human race there, then send a Xuanji of the demon race to kill him. The Golden Crow Demon King said, let some Xuanji of my demon race go. If they can kill the Xuanji of the human race, that would be the best. If not, then send some more Xuanji. Alright. Kunpeng Demon King nodded, urged the token, and began to give orders. Some of his Purple Mansion monsters sensed it, and went there one after another. The Golden Crow Demon King also took out his token, and began to give orders. The demons of the Golden Crow lineage also went there one after another. Then, they focused their attention on the 8 battlefields, where the Golden Core cultivators were fighting. The Golden Core cultivators were their focus. As for the Purple Mansion cultivators, they were not enough to attract too much of their attention. Just a reminder was considered a courtesy. Boom boom boom. On the battlefield, after Xuanji killed 3 Purple Mansion monsters in a row, the void flickered. In the distance, a scorching sun rose, and a golden crow turned into a rainbow light and descended. Behind it, there were 38 Purple Mansion Demon Kings and 1500 Foundation Building monsters coming to kill them. You little human kid, you're looking for death. The Golden Crow Demon King roared, and called his men, to surround and kill him. 39 were Purple Mansion Demon Kings. Thousands of Foundation Building monsters besieged him, a cultivator from the Purple Mansion 8 Immortal City, without any respect for martial ethics. Seeing this scene, Xuanji's scalp was tingling, and he urged the Golden Light to flee. At least he had to fight while fighting. If he was trapped in a siege, he would only be beaten to death. You mixed-haired bird, you only know how to fight in groups. We humans are not afraid. At this time, Liu Rumeng appeared, with 18 Purple Mansion sword cultivators and 800 Foundation Building sword cultivators behind him. With endless murderous intent, he killed the Golden Crow lineage. The demon army and the human army clashed together, and both sides entered a melee. Chapter 259, The Power of Broken Sword. Boom boom boom. The human army and the demon army clashed together. In such a battle, the Foundation Building was a small soldier, and the Purple Mansion was a general. The two sides fought together. This is the real war, the real fight. In such a melee, the key training cultivators can't get involved at all. If they touch, they will die. If they touch, they will die. Liu Rumeng led the cultivators of Xiang Mountain to welcome the demon army. Although they were not as many as the Golden Crow lineage, they were not afraid at all. Instead, they were full of fighting spirit and rushed towards the enemy with endless murderous spirit. Sword cultivators should fight with cultivators, sublimate in the fierce battle, or die. But 4 swords were dispatched, turning into a stream of light, to welcome the Golden Crow Demon King. In the past, Xuanji couldn't understand her realm, but as his cultivation improved, his vision was also improved, and he also had insight into the realm of this genius. The spirit is perfect, and he only needs to pass the tribulation, to prove the golden elixir. Let's go to the void to fight. The Golden Crow Demon King said excitedly. Okay, let's fight in the void. Liu Rumeng nodded. The two turned into a stream of light, flew to a height of 10,000 meters, and began to shift the battlefield. They subconsciously avoided the monks fighting on the ground, so as to avoid the impact of the aftermath of the battle, and the demon monks or human monks under their command would be killed by the aftermath of the battle. Boom boom boom. 10,000 meters above the sky, the sword energy was surging, the sun's true fire was surging, and even the sound of the chaos bell was ringing. The fierce battle tore everything apart and destroyed all laws. Xuanji just took a look from a distance, and his mind was swaying. Too strong. Is this the monk who is only half a step away from achieving the golden core? Every move they made was extremely powerful and had great destructive power, tearing everything apart and destroying everything. It can be called a human-shaped natural disaster. If they ignored it and fought on the ground, there might be countless foundation building monks and purple mansion monks who would be affected and die. I'm not as good as you. Xuanji put away his pride and gave up the extravagant hope of defeating the golden elixir. Once, when he reached the 9th level of the purple mansion, he thought about whether he could defeat the golden elixir and kill a golden elixir monster. But looking at the Golden Crow Demon King above, he immediately gave up. He estimated that, if he fought with the Golden Crow Demon King, he would be killed after 5 moves at most. When encountering the Golden Crow Demon King, it is best to activate Golden Light of the Earth. But the Golden Crow Demon King also has Rainbow Transformation Technique, and his speed is not slower than him. At that time, he can only use some trump cards. Boom boom boom. At this moment, a golden crow monster beast of the 9th level of the purple mansion rushed towards him. It flapped its wings, and the golden flames were burning, turning into flames of destruction, and rushing towards him, attacking fiercely and cruelly. Xuanji took a deep breath and activated the pure Yang Dao body. A pure white flame burned on his body. He held the Lihuo sword in his left hand, and activated the Xuanji heavenly sword in his right hand to slash and kill. The sword and the sword slashed and killed, and the killing was fierce. A big bell appeared above the head of the golden crow monster. It was a replica of the chaos bell. The big bell was ringing, emitting waves of sound waves, attacking and killing. The sound waves were ringing, with a soul-stirring weirdness, attacking and seducing. Xuanji suddenly felt a slight pain in his head, but his soul was operating and resisting the impact. At this moment, a sword stabbed at his heart. Swish. In the blink of an eye, Xuanji dodged. Whoosh. The golden crow opened its mouth, and the golden flame turned into a flame that swept over. Pure Yang True Fire. Xuanji also flashed a trace of stubbornness. He could use other means, but he wanted to activate the Pure Yang True Fire, to fight fire with fire. Boom boom boom. The golden flames and the pure white flames clashed with each other, burning each other, devouring each other, and annihilating each other. The sun's true fire was hot and domineering, destroying everything. The pure Yang True Fire was extremely strong, extremely positive, and extremely pure, purifying everything with its purity. The two flames clashed and tore each other apart. After 3 breaths, the sun's true fire gained the upper hand and began to sweep over, suppressing everything. Pure Yang Sword. Xuanji urged the pure Yang broken sword, and a stream of pure Yang Qi from the broken sword surged into his body. Suddenly, his eyes turned red, and his body made a crackling sound, as if he couldn't bear too much pure Yang Qi, as if he was full. He forced the practice to run, using pure Yang Qi as fuel, to increase the power of the pure Yang True Fire. Whoosh. The pure Yang True Fire, which was originally in the stage of great success, immediately increased its power significantly, and entered the stage of perfection. Whoosh. The power of the flame was increasing, and in an instant it submerged the sun true fire and the golden crow of the 9th level of the purple mansion. Sizzle. Sizzle. The flame lasted only for 1 second, but it burned the golden crow to death. In the void, only a drop of golden blood remained. Xuanji took out the jade bottle and put away the golden blood. After losing the support of the pure yang qi, the power of the pure yang true fire was also declining, falling from the perfect state to the great perfection realm. Puff. At this moment, Xuanji also spit out a mouthful of blood, and his breath was withering. His body was also seriously injured. Sure enough, the pure yang true fire of the perfect realm was not something he could control at all. At that moment just now, he activated the pure yang true fire to burn the purple mansion golden crow to death, but he himself was also seriously injured by the pure yang true fire. That is, the holding time. If he held on any longer, he would be directly burned to death by the pure yang true fire. A cultivator with a pure yang Taoist body was burned to death by the pure yang true fire. This joke is not funny at all. But the next moment, a trace of vitality surged in the void stomach, repairing the injuries. At the same time, the power of the surrounding plants entered the body and repaired the injuries, and the third great key replenishing heaven also entered the body and repaired the body's injuries. With three-pronged approach, the injuries recovered quickly. But at this moment, two monsters came to attack. One was a white wolf and the other was a gosh orc. One swooped down from high altitude with an extremely fast speed, and the gusts of wind surged, evolving into wind blades, slashing and killing. The other attacked from the ground, and countless frost appeared around, freezing the blood and freezing time and space. The two cooperated together and attacked in tacit understanding. Kill. The knife light in Xuanji's right hand flashed, as if a gust of wind was sweeping. The sword light in his left hand flashed, like a rainstorm of pear blossoms. Bang bang. The two sides fought fiercely, and soon scars appeared on his body, and scars also appeared on the body of the white wolf. The gosh orc was also pierced by the sword. After fighting for 20 moves, Xuanji urged the heaven swallowing cauldron to smash down, and the white wolf's head shattered, and died on the spot. The gosh orc was not afraid and rushed to kill, but was swallowed by the heaven burned cauldron, and the pure yang true fire burned and turned into ash. Just after the battle ended, there was no time to breathe, and 3 more monsters rushed to kill. Chapter 260 Liu Rumeng's Enlightenment of the Golden Elixir. 3 more monsters came to kill, fast and fierce. Xuanji urged the Lihuo sword, Yuanxi Xiandao, Chunayang True Fire, Cheyenne Mudafa, Bu Xianding, Tun Xianding, etc. to counterattack the opponent, and various killing moves surged. Soon, the 3 monsters were killed, but the injuries on his body were also aggravated. He had various healing methods to treat the injuries, but it also took time to recover. But in the fierce battle, there was no time to recover. Boom boom boom. The battle continued, and the fight continued. In the fierce battle, some monsters were killed, and blood was spilled on the spot. Some human monks were killed, and their bodies fell on the ground. On the battlefield, there were broken corpses everywhere, as well as scattered blood and broken weapons. Life became extremely cheap at this moment. The monks participating in the battle here were at least foundation building monks, and there were many purple mansion monks. Whether in the human race or the monster race, they were considered to be in the middle and upper levels. But at this moment, they died one after another. Cough cough cough. Not knowing how many enemies he had killed, Xuanji coughed, and his mouth was bleeding. Looking around, the originally densely packed team began to scatter and become sparse. The demon clan's team began to scatter, and was heading for defeat. Gradually began to retreat. The human monks shouted, and began to chase. The demon clan far surpassed the human monks in terms of the number of monks, but they were much inferior in terms of battle formation training and team unity. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the duel in the sky also had a result. Sizzle. With the bombardment of the 4 swords, the power of the 4 symbols combined together, turning into a peerless light that submerged everything. The sun's true fire was extinguished, and the imitation chaos bell was shattered. 100-meter long golden crow corpse appeared, blood scattered in the void, and its breath was cut off. Liu Rumeng's figure also appeared. There were many broken and burnt places on the armor. The bright armor became dim, but her eyes were like stars. Her spirit was rising, as if it had reached the extreme. Most of the calamity in the dark dissipated. The life calamity was past. This time, fighting with Jinwu Yao Yanjin was dangerous, and she was seriously injured, but she also survived the life calamity with the help of this battle. You killed my brother. I want to eat you and avenge my brother. The void flashed, and a huge Kunpeng appeared, opening its huge mouth and swallowing Liu Rumeng. At this moment, Liu Rumeng's luck reached its peak, but it was also the moment when her fighting power declined, and she reached her weakest. Swish. At this moment, Liu Rumeng smiled. I'm waiting for you. With a move of her palm, a formation diagram appeared. On it, there were clouds and mists changing, fairies rising and falling, gods dancing, dragons flying, and the sun evolving. Various phenomena were endless and continuous. As the formation diagram was running, the formation method was endless, constantly expanding and changing, turning into a 10-mile radius and instantly wrapping Kunpeng, trapping it inside. Boom boom boom. At this moment, the formation diagram was shaking violently and buzzing. It seemed that a giant beast of destruction was brewing inside, constantly tearing it apart, as if it wanted to break the formation diagram and escape. Although the formation diagram was powerful, it was not enough to trap a Kunpeng monster who was about to achieve the golden elixir. The heavenly tribulation appears, and the golden elixir is achieved. Liu Rumeng smiled, and her aura burst out, triggering the heavenly tribulation. Boom boom boom. Above the sky, the tribulation clouds were surging, and countless tribulation clouds were condensing into a dark mass, turning into 100 miles of radius. Suddenly, the monsters around evacuated to avoid being affected by the heavenly tribulation. Xuanji urged the golden light of escaping the ground and disappeared, escaping hundreds of miles away. Many other human cultivators also evacuated, looking terrified. The heavenly tribulation was condensing, and it seemed to sense the breath of the Kunpeng Demon King. The heavenly tribulation was forcibly upgraded by one level on the original basis. Sizzle. At this moment, the first heavenly tribulation condensed and turned into a silver lightning, sweeping down. Liu Rumeng waved his hand and opened the four symbols diagram, and suddenly the silver lightning entered it and blasted down. The human race is shameless and actually use this deity to block the tribulation. A crazy cry came from the formation diagram, but Liu Rumeng's expression did not change. If you want to sneak attack him, then pay the price. The first heavenly tribulation descended and was blocked by the Kunpeng Demon King. The second heavenly tribulation was still blocked. The third, fourth, and fifth moments, the Kunpeng Demon King was blasted into ashes by the heavenly tribulation. Boom boom boom. The sixth heavenly tribulation came down, and Liu Rumeng smiled, with a trace of calmness and ease on her face. With the help of the Demon King Kunpeng in front of her to resist the tribulation for her, she bought 30 breaths of time. With this little time, she took the elixir and refined the medicinal power. Her injuries were healing quickly, and her true essence was restored to 8 levels. The heavenly tribulation was powerful, but it couldn't take her life. Boom boom boom. The 6th heavenly tribulation fell and broke through calmly. The 7th heavenly tribulation broke through. The 8th heavenly tribulation broke through. The 9th heavenly tribulation broke through. When everything dissipated, Liu Rumeng successfully survived the tribulation. When she practiced the skills, her body was like a black hole madly absorbing the spiritual energy around her. The spiritual energy within a radius of 100 miles swept in and turned into a tide, continuously entering her body. Her injuries were recovering quickly, and her breath was constantly improving, stabilizing her ki, and her foundation was constantly solidifying and consolidating her foundation. A great golden elixir cultivator was born. Flowers bloom and fall, and families change, but the obsession with longevity remains unchanged. A great giant and cultivator lives for 1,000 years, watching the ebb and flow of the tides and the birth and death of all things in the world. On average, only one giant may be born for every 1 billion humans. Such an existence, sitting in a place, suppressing the luck of a clan, and sitting in the luck of a sect, has an immeasurable role and fortune. Liu Rumeng turned into a stream of light and disappeared, and was going to retreat to comprehend. Ahem. On the battlefield, this was a small-scale duel. The Golden Crow and Kunpeng lineages of the demon race were badly defeated. The human cultivators, although they won, Also lost 8 purple mansion cultivators, and as for the foundation building cultivators, there were more than 70. After the war, the human cultivators cleaned the battlefield, collected treasures, and sorted out the harvest. Ahem. With a cough, Xuanji also turned into a stream of light, advanced 500 miles, and returned to Xiang Mountain, to start retreating to comprehend. Life and death battles are extremely dangerous, but they are also the test of true gold. In life and death, it is easy to tell which is real, and which is fake. With the help of the battle, Xuanji's cultivation did not increase, but his combat experience, combat skills, state of mind, etc. were greatly improved. It was like a transformation of life. I'm still me, but I'm not me. Not only that, the calamity on my body dissipated by more than half, and my luck improved by a lot. It turns out that, whether it is the human race or the demon race, they all need to use the beast tide to dissipate the calamity on their bodies and resolve the calamity on their bodies. Xuanji pondered. He vaguely saw through the essence of the beast tide. Chapter 261, Demon King Wanted. There were only simple decorations in the cave. On the bed, Xuanji sensed his own aura, and most of the calamity dissipated, and his luck improved a lot. Thinking about the beast tide again, he vaguely understood the nature of the beast tide. There are calamities in the world, and the calamity evolves, turning into heavenly calamities, human calamities, and life calamities. Luck and calamity are mixed together, just like the front and back of a coin. Without calamity, there is naturally no luck. The cultivation of cultivators seems to be a competition for resources, but in fact it is a competition for luck. As long as luck comes, resources will also come. The Yuanying's engine of the human race and the Yuanying Yao Huang of the demon race are indeed powerful in cultivation, and have strong luck, but they have huge causalities in calamity. These calamity energies gather on their bodies, constantly consuming their own luck, and at some point in the future, they will be confused by the calamity, and evolve into a death calamity. Those Yuanying's engine, and Yuanying Yao Huang are always thinking about dissipating the calamity on their bodies to make themselves lucky. In order to dissipate the calamity, the Yuanying's engine will recruit some Xuanji with great luck, and use their luck to dissipate their own calamity. At the same time, they will take the initiative to launch some wars to dissipate their own calamity. The beast tide is launched every 100 years, and the human race and the demon race fight each other. There are various calculations and reasons, but the biggest reason is that the Yuanying's engine and the Yuanying Demon King want to use the beast tide to dissipate part of their own calamity and escape danger. At the beginning, Xia wanted to take me as a disciple, and later we became close. Isn't she trying to use my luck to dissipate part of her own calamity? At the beginning, the Yi family valued me and married their daughter. Isn't it because they valued my luck to dissipate some of the calamities of the Yi family? Xuanji thought, and suddenly understood the problem. It's not scary to be entangled with calamity. At that time, the cultivator can sense the changes in his own calamity. I'm afraid that the calamity will confuse the mind and fall into the death calamity without knowing it. Those Yuanying cultivators and Huashan cultivators have gone through many tribulations and hard training, and each of them is extremely smart and has outstanding wisdom. But after being confused by the tribulation, negative emotions are constantly magnified, and they will become impulsive and irritable, extreme and irritable, and their IQs are constantly decreasing. Their IQs will fall to the sewer, and they are so stupid that they are not even as good as the IQs of 10-year-old children. It's just like in novels and books, where the tribulation is confusing, and the villains are reduced in intelligence. Success, bad past MT, luck rises and falls. Fate, luck, tribulation, fate, cause and effect, chance, these are too complicated. After just thinking for a moment, Xuanji stopped thinking. If you can't figure it out, don't try to figure it out. Take the Nirvana pill, refine the medicinal power, and heal your injuries. After a day of rest, Xuanji set out on the journey again, and embarked on the road of killing. When the beast tide came, the order of the human race and the demon race collapsed. They could kill as much as they wanted, and kill demons to rob treasures. They didn't need to worry about the so-called rules or the so-called background. When they saw the enemy on the opposite side, they could draw their knives and go and chop people. In the beast tide, cause and effect were confused. In the beast tide, it became extremely difficult for the Yuan Demon King to figure out someone. This gave many Xuanji the opportunity to take advantage of the fire and kill and set fire. In such a chaos, killing does not need to care about cause and effect. Killing does not need to care about karma. As long as they can kill the enemy, they can kill as much as they want. Whether it is a human cultivator or a demon cultivator, they all like to carry treasures, elixirs, rare things, etc. with them. As long as they can kill the enemy, they can get a big treasure and a great opportunity. In the deep mountains, beside the cliffs, in the canyons, they struggled to find the cave of the predecessors, where they killed the demons, seized the enemy's storage bags, and obtained opportunities and treasures quickly. At the beginning, Xuanji was still afraid and cautious. The scope of the battle was maintained within the vicinity of Xiang Mountain, about 5,000 miles. However, he soon left the periphery of Xiang Mountain and began to kill in various areas of the human race while activating the Xuanji. The armor wrapped his whole body, leaving no dead corners on his body, and even his face was blocked by the visor. The killing feast began. Boom boom boom. The battle broke out, and a peacock activated the 5-color light. The golden sword, wooden sword, water sword, fire sword, earth sword, etc. turned into a 10-foot high sword and chopped down in the air. The magic sword was like a mountain, cutting in all directions. The magic sword was crisscrossing and tearing the void. It was the peacock's innate magical power, 5-color magic sword. Xuanji waved his fist and blasted out. There was no skill, only domineering and arrogance, as if the overlord had descended. Bang bang. The fist light shone, and the 5 swords crossed the sky. The 2 sides clashed together and kept tearing each other apart. Tick tock. Tick tock. Drops of blood fell on the ground. Xuanji's fists were injured, but his fighting spirit was boiling. What a 5-color divine sword. Catch the sword. Xuanji let out a long roar. Runes surged on his palms. About 1 million Yuan-Si runes condensed together and turned into a 10-meter long sword. The sword exuded a blue-gray color, simple and majestic. It was engraved with dragon and phoenix runes, birds and beasts, and flashed with sharpness and murderous aura, like a heavenly sword born for destruction. Holding the long sword with both hands, he raised the Yuan-Si heavenly sword and chopped it down in the air. As the sword chopped down, Xuanji felt the true energy in his body being drawn away, and the 10 layers of true energy disappeared in an instant. But it seemed that it was not enough, and the power in the Xuanji was drawn again, and a huge force was injected into the heavenly sword. But the Yuan-Si was running wild, even causing the spiritual energy within a range of 10 miles to riot. As the Yuan magnetic force ran wild, the knife also chopped down, with a power between great success and perfection. 5-element shield. The peacock urged the power of the 5-element, and the 5-element worked together to form a 5-color shield to block the front. However, it was useless. As the knife chopped down, the peacock of the 9th level of the purple mansion was killed on the spot, and its body was broken. The power of the black ice was used to freeze the peacock's body, seal it in the black ice, and put it in the storage bag. The figure flashed, and it was looking for the next target. It was only 7 days since the beast tide began, but the harvest it brought was equivalent to the harvest of the past 70 years. Killing people and arson will bring you a golden belt. The words of the ancients are not deceiving me. In the Demon King Palace, on the topographic map, countless black and white pieces clashed with each other, fighting each other, melting each other, and drowning each other, but new chess pieces appeared. The Golden Crow Demon King sat on the throne, watching the chess pieces clashing on the map, and suddenly frowned slightly, and his brows moved. His heart was throbbing, and he felt that a descendant had been killed. While calculating the cause and effect, a picture suddenly appeared in front of him. In the picture, a young man in black armor appeared, wielding a long sword. The long sword flashed, splitting the chaos bell, and killing a golden crow. This golden crow was just a mixed blood golden crow, just an insignificant one among his descendants. But at this moment, a trace of murderous intent flashed in the eyes of the Golden Crow Demon King, and he felt the breath of disgust. This boy has the breath of Xiao Sword Lord. Is he her disciple or descendant? This boy has her lifeblood seal on him. Killing this boy will definitely slap her in the face. Pass the order. The pride of the demon clan. If you kill that boy, you can enter the blood pool for 3 days and awaken your bloodline for the second time. Give you a creation pill, a golden pill, and an infinite pill. Chapter 262. My name is King Gaiyao. In the Demon King Palace, the Golden Crow Demon King was staring at the black armored boy with murderous intent, wishing he could eat him up. As for who this boy was, what his name was, and what his origins were, he was too lazy to investigate. He was too lazy to ask. A mere purple mansion cultivator, a mere human genius, was not worthy of his attention, just like humans would not pay attention to ants on the ground. Whether the ants were red, black, big, or small, worker ants, male ants, or ant kings, he was dismissive. He only felt the blood seal of Xiao Sword Lord, so he took a look at the ant. If you kill that human cultivator, I will use his body as material to prepare a blood feast. At the end, the Golden Crow Demon King gave orders and passed the message on the token. On the vast battlefield of hundreds of thousands of miles, the beast tide is surging. The demon race is flooding the human race's territory, killing human monks, devouring human mortals, and starting a bloody banquet. Similarly, the human monks also assist in the formation, magic weapons, formations, etc., to kill the demon race. On the battlefield, there are always demon beasts being killed, and human monks are dying all the time, like a meat grinder. Every time the beast tide strikes, the demon race will lose half of its monsters, and the human race will also lose 3 levels of population. As for the foundation building monks and purple mansion monks, the losses are even greater. Only when enough people and monks die, the beast tide will end. With the help of the beast tide, both sides are constantly reducing the excess population. The war is an elimination match, directly eliminating the weak and unlucky monks among the human race. The demon race uses the beast tide to cleanse the weak demon race and the demon race with poor potential. After the trials of war, the remaining demon cultivators and human cultivators are all elites, and they are first class in terms of combat power, combat skills, and state of mind. Such a genius will have a higher survival rate in the future when he attacks the purple mansion or even the golden pill, and can better ensure that limited resources are invested in the right people. Boom boom boom. On the battlefield, under the command of a purple mansion monster, a large number of monsters attacked and tore the formation, and a family of immortal cultivators was broken. Suddenly, countless monsters rushed in, devouring the mortals inside and killing the cultivators. The scene was bloody and brutal. The purple mansion monster watched all this indifferently. Suddenly, the waste card made a sound. On the waste card, a picture appeared, showing a black armored boy and the rewards behind it. Blood pool baptism, creation pill, golden pill, infinite pill. The purple mansion monster looked at these rewards and was immediately moved. Not only him, but even the golden pill monster would be moved when seeing this scene. The baptism in the hematopoietic pool can awaken the blood of the demon beast for the second time and improve the purity of the blood. The improvement of blood purity means that the potential of the demon race is increasing and the upper limit is increasing. The human race relies on spiritual roots and physique to divide the potential, but the demon race relies on the purity of blood to divide the potential. The good fortune pill, after taking it, can increase the volume of the danshan and the storage of the true essence, which is very beneficial for cultivators. The golden pill can help the cultivators to unite their spirit, energy, and spirit to condense the golden pill, and increase the probability of the 3rd level. The infinite pill, after taking it, can stimulate the potential of the cultivator and increase the probability of successfully crossing the tribulation. These pills are not only expensive, but also rare. There is no market for them, and they are in short supply. Not only do those demon cultivators at the peak of the purple mansion need them, but even some golden pill monsters are extremely greedy. What a pity, I'm only at the 5th level of the purple mansion. The purple mansion demon beast sighed and closed the token. Such treasures were not something he could covet. He had to be at least at the 8th or 9th level of the purple mansion, or even at the half-step demon pill level, to be able to compete for such an opportunity. At the same moment, in other locations, the purple mansion monsters sensed the message on the token. Many monsters sighed and turned into unwillingness. Only a few purple mansion peak monsters sensed the wanted order of the Golden Crow Demon King, and excitement flashed in their eyes. They captured the breath and the direction, and moved forward. At this moment, in a valley, a beautiful girl appeared. She was wearing a white dress, with a graceful and exquisite body, and her silver hair was like moonlight. Her eyes were like stars, and there was a bright moon mark between her eyebrows. There was a faint blush on her cheeks, and her body was like a beautiful jade, with a radiant light. Her neck was elegant, her delicate collarbone was charming, and on her chest was a pair of huge weapons. The proportions of her body were destroyed, making the originally perfect body look out of balance. She exudes a pitiful and charming aura, like a demon who has captivated everyone. Behind her, there are 4 tails. She holds a token in her hand, and a message is transmitted on the token. Xiao Sword Lord, not long ago, passed through 3 tribulations, and became a Yuanying True Lord. She has a grudge against Jinwu Demon King for killing her son. That Jink Demon King tried to attack Yuanying, but died in the Fate Tribulation, and the Fate Tribulation was caused by Xiao Sword Lord. Beilinga pondered. She thought of the rumor not long ago. 100 years ago, Xiao Sword Lord and Jink Demon King had a great battle. In the battle, Xiao Sword Lord was seriously injured and barely survived with the formation of Teeling Pass. In this battle, Jink Demon King had a slight advantage, seized part of Xiao Sword Lord's destiny, broke through the human tribulation in one fell swoop, and greatly improved his cultivation. He will use the beast tide to kill the human race's pride and pass the Fate Tribulation. But he never thought that this Xiao Sword Lord would go one step ahead, pass through the 3 calamities, and attain the nascent soul. He used the fate that was taken away in the past as cause and effect, and triggered the calamity of the Golden Palace Demon King in advance. The Demon King died on the spot and turned into ashes. The blood concentration, understanding and talent of the Golden Palace Demon King are first class. He is the most outstanding one among the descendants of the Golden Crow Demon King. In the end, he died at the hands of Xiao Sword Lord. The hatred between them can be said to be irreconcilable. Little brother, you are in danger now. You are being targeted by the Golden Crow Demon King. Don't die in the calamity. Beilinga thought, and a trace of worry flashed across her face. This was real worry. Not long ago, I awakened the 5th tail, and the magical power was disguise, which can conceal my own breath and transform into a human. As long as it is not a divine eye-like talent, or a late nascent soul strongman, I can conceal 1 or 2. If it is impossible, you can take little brother away. Thinking of this, Beilinga's eyes flashed with a trace of determination. A 5th tail appeared behind him, and as it moved, a ray of light enveloped his body, transforming him into a female cultivator. This female cultivator was created based on the woman in Lu Xuanji's deepest memory. Even Lu Xuanji himself might not know, but Beilinga knew. My name is King Gaibao. Chapter 263. No one in heaven or on earth can save you. In the valley, there is a woman with a graceful body, like ice and snow. The seemingly cold body exudes a hint of heat, as if there is a flame burning, with a graceful figure, graceful eyebrows, tall body, and a faint gentleness on her face. Taking out the mirror and looking at herself in the mirror, Beilinga admired herself. Is this the woman that the little brother can't forget? In terms of appearance, she is just so-so, not stunningly beautiful. She is much worse than me, and also a little worse than Xiao Sword Lord. But why does the little brother keep thinking about her? Beilinga pondered, a little puzzled. As a fox demon, a charming woman naturally relies not only on appearance, but also on insight into people's hearts. People's hearts are unpredictable and changeable. Many times, humans don't understand their own hearts, but fox demons can see into the hearts of monks. Now, she has 5 tails and 5 talents: charm, teleport, death substitute, doppelganger disguise. However, the fox demon's only real talent is psychic insight, which can see through people's hearts. But it is precisely because of this insight that fox demons are best at playing with people's hearts. Many fox demons are unhappy. Looking at the woman in the mirror, she is considered a beauty, but she is just a beauty. If women are divided into 100 points, the woman in the mirror is only 85 points, Xiao Sword Lord is 90 points, and she, Beilinga, is 95 points. This woman's appearance is not the most beautiful, but why does the little brother miss her so much? Balinga said puzzledly. Her figure flashed and disappeared. She had two plans. If the little brother was defeated, she would save the little brother. In terms of combat power, she can only rank in the top 50 among the purple mansions of the demon clan. Not the top 1, but in terms of life-saving ability and escapability, she ranks in the top 5. Even the giant and cultivators could not save her life. Boom boom boom. With a violent sound, Xuanji killed another purple mansion monster. He waved his hand to collect the corpse. Panting slightly, he had killed 35 purple mansion monsters so far. But the aura around him was surging, and some purple mansion monsters were not following the moral code of war and directly besieged him. Xuanji directly urged, "Golden light of the earth," and immediately turned into a golden light, which was already 10 miles away. He flashed a few more times, avoiding the siege of the purple mansion monsters, and then attacked and killed them, specifically catching and killing the monsters that were alone. The Golden Crow Demon King is looking for me. I want to sell myself for a creation pill, a golden pill, and an infinite pill. Sensing the news on the token, Xuanji's eyes flashed with excitement. Touching his forehead, there was a sword-shaped mark here. This mark is called the blood seal of the life. With this mark, it means that he has been protected by the sword lord of Xiu. Those Yuanying demon kings will follow the rules, and will not directly attack him. At most, they will send purple mansion monsters to surround and kill him. In other words, he is just a small figure, not worth those Yuanying demon kings breaking the rules. Boom boom boom. In this way, Xuanji urged the golden light of the earth, constantly moving, constantly sniping the demon clan's purple mansion, firing a shot, and moving to another place, never stopping, never falling into the enemy's encirclement. If you can fight, fight. If you can't fight, run. Never fall into the siege of the demon clan. It was a mess. After 3 days and 3 nights of fierce fighting, Xuanji's figure flashed, thinking of Xiang Mountain. After a long battle, the body is a little tired. It's time to go back and rest. The injuries of the battle can be repaired with elixirs and Cheyenne Key. The loss of true essence can also be compensated with spiritual liquid. But the continuous battles are a bit too much for the mental will. Swish. Just when they landed near Xiang Mountain, about 100 miles away, there was a tall figure blocking the way ahead, and the demonic aura was soaring. The big monster's eyes flashed with excitement, and he said with a hint of fiery, "I, Mu Yehuang, have been invincible all my life. Kneel down and be my human slave. I will offer you your treasure with both hands and I will spare your life. In this way, you still have a chance to survive. Otherwise no one in heaven and on earth can save you. Ha ha ha. I finally stopped you." At this moment, another rampant voice came. "Kneel down, human slave. I've heard of your deeds. It's just opportunism. You only have this ability to show off among the human race. My monster race is full of geniuses. I'm a strong man from the Qinglan clan, named Aogwang. Kneel down and be my slave. This is your best way out. I don't know how many human geniuses like you I have seen. I advise you to be low-key, kneel down and kowtow to admit your mistake. Otherwise, I will beat you to death." A cultivator spoke, wearing black armor, half a step away from the golden elixir, with perfect spirit and energy. He was obviously a small giant of the monster race. "Aogwang, do you want to capture this Xuanji first? This is the prey of the eldest son." A woman in white took action. Her words were full of contempt. "I'm afraid you can't handle it." "Really? It is necessary to let these 3 human slaves know that the Azure Dragon lineage is different from other demon tribes. The Azure Dragon is a divine beast of heaven and earth, supreme and noble." Aogwang stepped forward and looked at Xuanji. "Boy, you take action. Let me see what arrogant means you have." Bang. Just as Aogwang's voice fell, the aftermath was still rippling in the air. At this moment, a white jade palm fell from the sky, and Aogwang's body suffered a fatal blow, and his head shattered. "It's just some mixed blood of Azure Dragon, but it's useless," Xuanji said indifferently. Aogwang didn't die after the blow just now. Instead, his body was wriggling. His head was shattered, but he didn't die. He was full of vitality. He urged the Bushanding to suppress him, destroying his vitality and extracting his blood. He kicked the enemy again and stepped on Ao Guang's body. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Ao Guang, who was so majestic and arrogant just now, begged for mercy. He was as arrogant as he was just now. The blood in your body is so strong. It's worthy of the Azure Dragon blood. The way of heaven is to reduce the surplus and make up for the deficiency. The way of man is to reduce the deficiency and serve the surplus. Let you rich second generation make up for my deficiency. Lu Xuanji suppressed Ao Guang and extracted his blood. His mind was calculating and deducing. Ao Guang. The other masters were shocked and angry. Just one move, he suppressed a half-step demon pill expert and killed him completely, and they didn't even have time to react. How powerful is this? How insulting. Kill. Mu Yehuang suddenly slapped his palm, and millions of giant hands appeared. A tall and majestic phantom appeared behind him, turning into a peerless killing move, attacking and killing. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 264 Demon Ancestor Bloodline. Mu Yehuang was so angry that he activated the supreme killing technique. A terrifying vision appeared behind him. The void was filled with murderous aura, like a god of war. As the fighting spirit surged, the void exploded, and the tide of destruction swept everything. This half-step demon pill strongman showed terrifying strength when he made a move, and even Lu Xuanji's eyes lit up. The man in front of him was arrogant, but he also had the capital to be arrogant. Human slave, genius is useless, the descendant of the killing King Long lineage, I will devour you. The demon ancestor has arrived and ruled the mountains and rivers. When Mu Yehuang used his unique skills, the phantom behind him became real. It was a black tiger with a king pattern on its head, the sun, moon, and stars under its feet, and the 6 reincarnations behind it. Only the great demons who ascended to the fairyland are qualified to be called demon ancestors. Boom boom boom. The vast true energy condensed and turned into a supreme demon city. 3 words were engraved on it, 10,000 demon city. Inside, there was a demon cultivator walking. It was like a human town, prosperous and lively, and the demon civilization was performed inside. The blood of the demon ancestor is indeed extraordinary. Lu Xuanji was calculating in his mind, and the light of colored glaze flashed on his body. The scriptures of Pure Yang Sutra flashed, and the characters flowed in his mind one by one. What he didn't understand in the past, he gradually understood at this moment. At this moment, he urged the vision to evolve into the pure Yang Sun. The pure Yang Sun was changing. It was no longer a simple vision, but a combination of runes, densely packed together, evolving into a dazzling white sun, with a vague figure emerging inside. The pure Yang Sun fell from the sky and hit the 10,000 demon city, and the city was immediately shattered on the spot. Kill. Lu Xuanji took a deep breath. His speed soared. His whole body was exploding. His breath was like the sea. His body was shaking slightly. His shadow was everywhere. His cultivation was displayed in a terrifying mess. He punched out. He hit the body of the banshee, and the banshee's body was shattered. He hit another demon cultivator again, and the demon cultivator died. He punched out more than a dozen times in a row, and these demons were killed one after another. Bold. Mu Yehuang felt a little pressure, as if he was facing an antique. He urged the magic weapon, and suddenly a golden battle armor appeared on his body, and arm leaves appeared on his body, and a Fang Shan Huaji appeared on his palm. As the halberd appeared, colorful lights flashed in the void. This is a 4th grade magic weapon, and it is a magic weapon that completely matches his own life. There were streaks of evil spirits on it, and countless human souls were entangled in it. In order to refine this long sword, I don't know how many human beings died. Just a slight vibration could smell the smell of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood. I killed millions of human beings to sacrifice this halberd. Now I will use your blood to sharpen this halberd. Mu Yehuang slashed the halberd in his hand, as if the world was created. Streaks of murderous spirits swept in, turning into a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood, turning into an endless blood-colored wave, sweeping and suppressing. Lu Xuanji took a step forward and punched it. Dang. The fist hit the mountain of corpses and the sea of blood, and the evil spirit on it was melted, and the resentful souls of the human race disappeared. Kill, 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 kill. Muai Huang's fighting spirit was boiling. The blood of the demon ancestor cannot be desecrated. The stronger you are, the more you will inspire the fighting spirit in my heart, and promote the essence of my life to improve. Too weak. The king is not proud of the blood, but the descendants of the king are proud of the blood. I'm destined to become a great existence comparable to the demon ancestor and the Taoist. As for you, you are destined to be just a descendant of the demon clan. Xuanji took a step forward, and the aura of his whole body was surging. His expression became more and more indifferent, and his palms grabbed, shook, and tore. Chiller. Muai Huang's right arm was torn apart, and the blood of the arm's arm was scattered on the ground. Kill. Muai Huang injured the pain of a broken arm, and the flames burned on his body. The fighting spirit was boiling, and the broken arm grew out again, and it was stronger than before. But the halberd that fell to the ground was shaking violently, making bursts of roars, and fell into Muai Huang's hands again. The halberd flashed and slashed down. Too weak. Xuanji said only 2 words. Pure Yang Wuji fist. The pure Yang energy in his body was condensing on his fist, and blasting out. Bang bang. The halberd broke on the spot, and another punch hit Mu Yehuang's body. The upper half of the body of this supreme demon was beaten into a pulp. The broken body turned into a stream of light, and was about to escape, but was suppressed by a large cauldron, and taken in for refining. I have awakened the bloodline of the demon ancestor. How can I die? In the Xuanji cauldron, Mu Yehuang struggled. His broken body was condensing, and his body aura was rising step by step, like an invincible god of war, as if he was about to break the shackles and escape. You are proud of the blood of the demon ancestor, but the demon ancestor is not proud of his blood. Back then, he was just an ordinary black tiger. It was only by chance that he embarked on the road of demon cultivation. He was lucky enough to get a bit of luck from heaven and earth, and ascended to become an immortal. Xuanji said calmly, urging the pure Yang true fire to burn everything. The raging fire was burning and melting everything. The so-called struggle was more of a resistance from the weak. The voice became lower and lower, and the resistance became weaker and weaker. Haha, I'm only the 18th on the Demon King list. There will be a demon clan genius who will kill you. Mu Yehuang shouted unwillingly. I'm waiting. Xuanji said calmly. Boom boom boom. The pure Yang true fire was burning, completely refining and killing the enemy. As for a drop of purple gold blood in the big cauldron, it was the blood of the demon ancestor. After killing Mu Yehuang, Xuanji returned to Xiang Mountain with a flashing figure, and closed the cave. Suddenly, the aura on his body dropped, and he was no longer as strong as before, but instead spit out a mouthful of blood. Mu Yehuang is really amazing. If it weren't for the Huashinama to amplify himself, I might not be able to kill him. At this moment, the Huashinama disappeared and entered the Danshan. Xuanji took an Nirvana pill, and began to treat his injuries. An hour later, his injuries recovered 8 levels. At this moment, there was a noise at the entrance of the cave, and Xuanji stepped forward to open the door of the cave. Standing at the door was a woman with a graceful aura, graceful and graceful, with the fresh breath of plants and trees. It was Kinglian. In terms of aura, Kinglian has already reached the nascent soul stage, and her combat power is not inferior to the original body. When Xuanji successfully passed the tribulation and achieved the nascent soul stage, the clone Kinglian also entered the nascent soul stage. There was no need to pass the tribulation at all, because Xuanji had already borne the tribulation of the clone. Where is Xia? Xuanji asked. Has Xiao's engine arrived at the front line and confronted the Golden Crow Demon King? Kinglian said. The Golden Crow Demon King is at the 6th level of the nascent soul stage. If he attacks, can Xia resist? Xuanji said worriedly. True Lord Xiao has just passed the nascent soul stage. Compared with such a veteran nascent soul, he is far inferior. Naturally, he is no match for the Golden Crow Demon King, but he is not afraid of him. Kinglian smiled and said, if the Golden Crow Demon King attacks True Lord Xiao, other nascent souls of the human race will definitely attack as well, and other demon kings will also attack. In the end, it will evolve into a war between the two sides. The rhythm of the war is completely out of control and no one can bear the cost of the war being out of control. The purpose of launching the beast tide is to dissolve one's own calamity, not to trigger it in advance. True lords of the human race and demon kings of the demon race are much more afraid of death than imagined. Chapter 265 Essence and Blood Selection. King Lian smiled and talked about some secrets of the true lords and the demon king. After achieving the nascent soul stage, the lifespan is 2000 years. If there are other longevity pills, longevity fruits, or a reversal of calamity, it is not a problem to live for 5000 years. After achieving the nascent soul stage, the lifespan is long and the power is in hand. Naturally, one is extremely afraid of death and has many concerns when doing things. Speaking of being afraid of death, it is not shameful. Why do cultivators cultivate immortality? Isn't it because they want to live forever and live longer? In essence, it is not because they are afraid of death. In this world, no one is not afraid of death. The more powerful the existence, the more they care about life, and the more they are afraid of death. On the contrary, those street thugs, those low-level cultivators, each of whom has a humble life and nothing else but life, are willing to sacrifice their lives and forget about death, and don't care about their own lives at all. Those true lords and the demon king launch a beast tide every 100 years, using the beast tide to reduce their own calamity. How could they trigger the calamity in advance for the sake of fighting spirit? Once the nascent souls of both sides start fighting, the situation gets out of control and anyone may die. King Lian smiled, with a teasing tone in her words. What if I kill my way through the demon king list and kill all the demon kings in the top 100? Will those nascent soul demon kings take action against me? Xuanji asked. No, on average, a generation of purple mansion cultivators is born every 100 years, and one generation after another. If one of them can enter the golden core stage, it is considered a blessing. Those demon kings will pay certain attention to the strong ones on the demon king list and give them support, but the premise of all this is to prove that they are geniuses. If you unfortunately die among the human geniuses, it means nothing. The world of the demon race is much more cruel than you can imagine. King Lian said, if you can kill your way through the list, it would be best if you don't care. However, the top few on the list are very powerful. If you die among them, I will not save you. Okay. Xuanji nodded and said, please ask the senior to go outside and say that Yifan wants to challenge the geniuses of the demon race. In his eyes, the demon king list is also known as the waste list. None of the purple mansion demon kings on it can fight. They are all waste. I, Yifan, am the reincarnation of the Emperor of Heaven, and I was born to suppress the heroes. Now give the top 10 geniuses on the demon king list 2 choices. The first choice is that the 10 demon kings join forces to fight me. The second choice is that I will defeat the 10 demon kings alone. Okay. King Lian nodded and said, but what about Yifan? Xuanji smiled and said, Xuanji has a family and some killing skills, so he is very cautious and timid, but Yifan is alone and is not afraid of killing people. Yifan kills people. What does it have to do with me? Xuanji. It's just some common weapons and some common killing skills, but they can't be used. King Lian reminded, I happen to have a supreme secret technique, but I haven't practiced it successfully. It's just the right time to use 3 days to practice it successfully and then go to kill monsters. Xuanji said, Golden Crow Demon King, you don't want to arrest me? Then I will take action and kill all the young generation of the demon clan. Okay, I support you. But you can't be righteous. Some demon kings are very powerful. Some of them have survived 1 disaster, and some have survived 2 disasters. King Lian reminded, with a worried tone in his words. I will pay attention. Xuanji nodded. After talking for a while, King Lian left. Soon after, the news came that Yifan, the human race's Xuanji, said that the Xuanji of the demon race was all garbage, and killing the demon race was like killing a chicken, not worth mentioning. Welcome the Xuanji of the demon race to come and fight. After King Lian made his move, the news spread quickly through certain channels and soon reached the ears of some Xuanji of the demon race. Those strong men on the demon king list went there one after another. Some were tempted by the reward of the Golden Crow Demon King, some were there to hone their own skills and supernatural powers, and some were unable to go on stage, but came to watch the excitement. The great demons of the Purple Mansion came one after another, but when they arrived near Xiang Mountain, they saw a 10-mile wide arena appear. King Dian Zhenjin personally took action to build the arena, and guaranteed in the name of Zhenjin that he would never interfere with the competition of the younger generation, and of course he would not allow the demon race elders to take action. The younger generation's affairs should be left to the younger generation to compete. The outside world was bustling. In the cave, Xuanji was in seclusion, preparing for the battle 3 days later. Being cautious does not mean being timid. The Golden Crow Demon King is too strong for me to defeat. I can only kill some of the demon clan's geniuses to vent my anger, Xuanji thought, with a flash of madness and murderous intent in his eyes. During the battle, Xuanji's identity cannot be used, otherwise he will not be afraid, but will bring disaster to the Lu family. The only thing that can be used is Yi Fan's vest. In the Beast Tide, the secrets of heaven are already chaotic, and with the King Lian's engine blocking the secrets of heaven, the Golden Crow Demon King cannot figure out his identity, so there is no need to worry about the vest being exposed. In order to make the vest look real, signature magical powers such as Yuanxi Xian Dao, Xian Mudafa, Chunayang Xian Huo, etc. cannot be used, and only 9 changes of fish and dragon can be used. In the fierce battle, many monsters were killed, and many monsters' essence and blood were obtained. With the help of the monster's essence and blood, 9 changes of fish and dragon can be cultivated to perfection. There are dozens of groups of essence and blood in the Swallowing Heaven Cauldron, representing different types of monsters. The essence and blood contain the innate magical powers, some of which are quite powerful and have great growth potential. Golden crows, pure yang true fire, peacocks, 5-colored divine light, azure dragons, endless life, black tortoises, absolute defense, phoenixes, nirvana rebirth. These magical powers are all good and powerful, but which one should I choose? Looking at so many choices, Xuanji had a slight headache, and was now in a dilemma. He wanted everything, but he didn't know which one to choose. The 9 changes of fish and dragon can absorb the essence and blood of 9 different monsters, and transform them into his innate magical power. The first choice is the white spirit snakes, void stomach, and there are 8 more choices. Suddenly, he thought of the black armored boy he met when he was attacking the Purple Mansion. At that time, in the Battle of Luck, he killed this genius, and gained great luck, and even got the 9 changes of fish and dragon. That young man in black armor is extremely powerful. He absorbed the essence and blood of 9 top mythical beasts, including Kunpeng, King Long, Teoti, Taiyangzuz Heo, Taiyao Huo, Kaianki, Teo Wu and Hundan, and forged 9 clones. He must be very powerful, but he lost in the end. He lost because of greed. There is gain when there is loss. You can have many magical powers, but they cannot be poor. You can have them all, but they cannot be too many. Instead of choosing the strongest magical power, it is better to choose the one that suits you best instead of blindly seeking strength. The 9 magical powers will finally merge into one, and become a supreme innate magical power. This is the best choice. If each magical power chooses the strongest, and they fight on their own in the end, it will be bad. Xuanji thought in his heart, and he also completely clarified the direction. He was no longer confused about the choice of essence and blood. Chapter 266, The 9 Transformations of Fish and Dragon. At this time, flipping through 9 Transformations of Fish and Dragon gives me a different feeling. Life is a choice, and different choices will lead to different life paths in the future. The black armored boy chose to integrate into Kunpeng, King Long, Teoti, Taiyangzuz Heo, Taiyao Huo, Kaianki, Teo Wu, Hundan, etc., and subconsciously believed that carp was not as good as those top beasts. So he had to absorb the essence and blood of those top beasts to obtain top magical powers. In the subconscious, the idea of being inferior to humans buried the cause of losing. But is the carp really inferior to those top beasts? Not necessarily. Ants have the heart to defy the heavens, and carp have the ambition to turn into a dragon. Turning into a dragon does not mean turning into a dragon. Instead, it means keeping the body of a carp, and the blood of a carp can still be invincible in the world. The carp senior smelted the essence and blood of many beasts, not to turn himself into a carp with dragon blood, but to use the blood of these beasts as food, turning it into a boost for his own blood, and promoting the evolution, upgrade, and transformation of his own blood. That's why the carp elder created the 9 transformations of the fish and dragon, and finally ascended to become an immortal. The black carp lineage, which originally belonged to a lowly race, became the royal family among the monsters. The emperor is not proud of his bloodline, but the descendants of the emperor are proud of their bloodline. For the second bloodline, choose the Xuanji ant. Xuanji pointed his finger, and a ball of green blood turned into a stream of light, entered his body, and began to refine it. The Xuanji ant is a lower race among the monsters. The strongest Xuanji ant is only at the peak of the purple mansion. No Xuanji ant has ever been able to break the shackles of blood, and enter the golden elixir realm. If you are not strong enough, then win by numbers. The Xuanji ant is known for its strong fertility. There are hundreds of millions of them. With their huge numbers, even the golden elixir monster king has to retreat. In the beast tide, Xuanji killed a Xuanji ant of the purple mansion realm. After killing it with one move, he activated golden light and disappeared. He hit and ran, and his speed was extremely fast. The Xuanji ant was killed by him in one move, which was extremely weak. However, he still chose the Xuanji ant. The Xuanji ant has 3 magical powers: thousands of power, violent bloodthirstiness, and domination. He chose thousands of power. Thousands of power, the innate magical power of the Xuanji ant clan, which can increase the power by 1,000 times. As the blood was refined, a rune appeared at the heart position. The runes were increasing. When it increased to 100 runes, it was engraved at the heart position, causing the heart to beat, and the strength of the body was immediately increased. But when it reached a certain level, a bottleneck appeared, and it could not be improved again. This is the limitation of race and talent. He is a human being. Even if he activates 9 changes of fish and dragon to refine his blood essence, it is difficult to perfectly inherit his talent. He only inherited some incomplete magical powers. The third choice was flea. The fourth was 1,000-foot earthworm. The fifth was 7-star dragonfly, followed by 3 life bird, sandworm, hippo, and mantis. Among the monsters, these monsters have low bloodline talents, low combat effectiveness, and limited growth potential, and are lower level monsters. But Xuanji chose them, valuing their bloodline talents. In terms of talent selection, he chose strength, explosive power, defense, speed, agility, mana storage, recovery, and danger perception. These are the basic attributes of cultivators. The more inconspicuous the attributes and talents are, the greater the bonus to the cultivator. For example, void stomach seems to be of little use, just to improve the cultivator's digestive ability, but in fact it makes his cultivation speed much faster. If there is no void stomach, Xuanji is now at most the 6th level of the purple mansion. The strength of the Xuanji ant is so powerful that it is 1,000 times the weight of the body, which can be called the first among monsters. Unfortunately, the so-called first in strength is meaningless, because when monsters fight, they will not simply compete in strength, but also in physique. The Xuanji ant is only the size of a fist. No matter how strong it is, it can't beat an ordinary monster wolf. This is the difference in physique. The explosive power of fleas is strong, and can burst out 100 times the attack power. If Xuanji had 100 times the explosive power, he could kill a Yuanying monster king with the cultivation of the 8th level of the purple mansion. But fleas are only the size of a fingernail. Even with 100 times the explosive power, they can't kill the weakest rabbit monster. The 1,000-foot earthworm has a strong recovery power. In the key refining realm, it can be reborn by dripping blood. Even if the body is cut into 3 pieces, it can be completely healed together. Many monster kings can't do it. It's a pity that most of the 1,000-foot earthworms are only in the key refining foundation establishment realm. No matter how strong the recovery power is, it is destined to be the food of some monsters. The 7-star dragonfly has a strong speed and can be called the first. It's a pity that the upper limit of the blood is low and the body is small. The actual speed is much inferior to those birds. The Sansheng bird has a talent for time and can sense some fragments of the future. Unfortunately, its upper limit is only the peak of the Purple Mansion, and its combat power is still the last. The monsters he chose are almost the best in the monster race in terms of talent. But strong talent is not as important as bloodline, and not as important as the upper limit of race. The upper limit of bloodline blocks the realm of these monsters, causing them to belong to the bottom of the food chain in the monster race. However, he doesn't care about the upper limit of bloodline. He just wants to absorb the essence of bloodline in these monsters, and melt it into the 9 changes of fish and dragon. On the contrary, some powerful bloodlines of divine beasts, although they greatly increase their own power, are very difficult or even impossible to melt into their own bloodlines. Boom boom boom. About a day later, the bloodline completed the initial refining. 9 balls of blood merged into the body, and totem patterns appeared on the body. The second step began to melt these bloodline essences into the body. The body was slowly changing. On the second day, the totem disappeared, and the 9 monster bloodlines disappeared, completely swallowed by Lu Xuanji's bloodline, and turned into his own bloodline. The true meaning of the 9 changes of fish and dragon is not to devour the blood of monsters, nor to replicate the magical powers of monsters, but to digest the blood of other monsters, and improve the upper limit of one's own blood. On the third day, Lu Xuanji finished his training. Sensing the changes in his body, there was no trace of monster blood in his body, only human blood. When he arrived at the martial arts field, he stretched his muscles and bones, and threw punches one after another. At the same time, he activated destiny deduction, and calculated the data, and soon the relevant data appeared. In terms of strength, it has been greatly improved, comparable to the early stage of Jinden. In terms of speed, it is faster than the speed of the early stage of Jinden. In terms of explosive power, it can burst out 5 times the attack power in an instant, and can explode the Jinden with one blow. The disadvantage is that after the explosion, it will fall into a weak period. In terms of defense, it can withstand a blow from the early stage of Jinden without dying. In terms of true essence storage, it has been improved by more than double. In terms of recovery, the wounds on his body are recovering with the naked eye. Even if his head and heart are broken, he will not die immediately. As long as the damage to his body does not exceed 70%, he can recover. The regeneration of broken limbs and heads is no longer a dream, but a reality. His perception of danger is more acute, but he cannot tell how much he can perceive. While practicing the 9 changes of fish and dragon, he did not gain powerful magical powers, but his physical strength, speed, sensitivity, explosive power, recovery, defense, and true energy reserves were greatly improved. The short-term benefit is that his combat effectiveness at the same level has been greatly improved, but the long-term benefit is that his potential has been improved, and his future path will be broader. Chapter 267 Kirin Saint. Feeling the improvement of the upper limit of his body, Lu Xuanji was very happy. Pure Yang Dao body is the top physique of the human race. Among all kinds of physiques, it is also ranked at the top, and only a few physiques are above pure Yang Dao body. But those few physiques, although above pure Yang Dao body, are also limited in strength. Pure Yang Dao body is very powerful, which is a huge advantage, but it is extremely difficult to improve it a little bit. It's like raising a student from 60 points to 80 points, which is not difficult, but it is extremely difficult to raise it from 90 points to 95 points, almost impossible. But with the help of the 9 changes of fish and dragon, after smelting a few essences and blood, the upper limit was forcibly raised a lot, from 90 points to 95 points. Swish. Walking out of the martial arts room, he happened to meet King Lian Zhenjin. You have improved a lot. King Lian Zhenjin frowned, sensing that Lu Xuanji had undergone a huge change, and his aura became stronger, like a pure-blooded beast. It was just luck. Now I can compete with the demon clan's genius. Even if I encounter a half-step demon pill expert, I'm not afraid. Lu Xuanji said confidently. It's a good thing to be confident, but don't buy in there. King Lian Zhenjin said. It doesn't matter, I won't buy in there. Lu Xuanji smiled. The two walked side by side, left Xiang Mountain, and appeared near the ring. Swish. The next moment, Lu Xuanji turned into a stream of light, and stepped onto the ring. At this moment, he was wearing black armor, and his aura was as mighty as a god of war. He shouted loudly, "Who dares to fight me? Those who rank after the 10th on the Demon King list should not make a move, or they will die. Where is the first on the Demon King list? Little Stone Emperor. Where is the second on the Demon King list? Black Dragon Demon King. Where is the third on the Demon King list? Killin Saint. The Demon Clan. Are you afraid of my name, ye fan?" Xuanji began to talk nonsense and challenged as much as he could. "Human slave, you are looking for death." At this moment, accompanied by a female voice, a woman in golden palace clothes stepped onto the stage. She had a graceful figure, sword-like eyebrows, long golden hair, and a strong aura, like an unparalleled emperor, exuding auspicious aura. It was the Killin Saint, the third on the Demon King list. "Human slave, kneel down and atone your sins." The Killin Saint looked at Xuanji and spoke with the aura of supreme command. It was like a princess looking at a humble slave. She was a pure-blooded Killin, with noble blood and powerful fighting power, which was not comparable to those mixed blood monsters. Under long-term habits, she developed the habit of being a high-ranking emperor. Although she was a half-step demon pill cultivation, she had a strong fighting power. She once suppressed and killed a golden pill monster, and she was boundless and arbitrary. There was an indescribable arrogance in her words. But when everyone listened, they thought it was natural. "Killin Saint, only one of them dares to come up. Where are the other two?" Xuanji spoke. "Are they afraid of death, and dare not come to fight? I have already seen that your armor is somewhat special. It can enhance your own cultivation and increase your magic power to the early stage of Jinden. It is a good magic weapon. But for geniuses like us, the threat is small. The top 3 strong men on the Demon King list are all pure-blooded monsters. They have powerful bloodlines, and have condensed powerful innate magical powers. They have battle records of killing Jinden. You can't compare with them with just a magic weapon." Killin Saint said slowly, "So kneel down now, and be my slave. It is not a humiliation, but a supreme honor. I'm a pure-blooded Killin, a blessing from heaven and earth. I will bless you. Follow me. Becoming a Jinden is just the beginning. Even becoming a Yuanying is not difficult." She said this very calmly, showing a strong self-confidence, peerless style, and invincible grace. "So, you want me to be a human slave again?" After hearing this, Xuanji was not angry. "Very good, very good. However, I don't like to take a pure-blooded Killin as a mount, so just kill it directly." Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. The Killin Saint laughed, very relaxed. "Little guy, a newborn calf is not afraid of a tiger. You are very powerful. You can compete with the half-step demon pill. But you have to know that the half-step demon pill is also divided into different levels. Sometimes, 10 ordinary half-step demon pills can't defeat a demon half-step demon pill. I hope you are still so arrogant and proud when I kill you." Xuanji said calmly. "At the beginning, Ao Guan was also in front of me, arrogant, but I still killed him in the end. At that time, he kept begging me for mercy. I hope you, the Killin, will not beg for mercy later." Swish. The next moment, Xuanji stepped forward and punched out. Killin Zhangheng. The Killin Saint stepped forward, her aura surging, and a Killin appeared behind her, its body as white as jade, with colorful clouds under its feet, and auspicious auras behind it. As she took steps forward, her aura continued to rise, as if a female war god had descended into the world, and she punched out, with the surrounding vitality of heaven and earth guarding her, as if welcoming the Supreme Emperor. On the contrary, the vitality around her was rejected and suppressed. The speed of absorbing external spiritual energy dropped by as much as 5 levels. The connection with the aura of heaven and earth was also declining. It seems that the moment you become an enemy of the Killin Saint, you will be rejected by heaven and earth, and be suppressed and oppressed by heaven and earth. The pure-blooded Killin is an auspicious sign for heaven and earth. To be an enemy of it is to be an enemy of heaven and earth in the dark. What about the suppression of heaven and earth? Among us cultivators, who doesn't have the heart to go against heaven? If we don't have the heart to go against heaven, what kind of immortality are we cultivating? Xuanji laughed loudly, with a sense of rebellion in his fist, rising from the ground and rushing forward, representing the resistance and indomitable spirit of human nature. If it is good for oneself to follow the will of heaven, one will naturally choose to follow the will of heaven. If it is good for oneself to go against the will of heaven, one will naturally choose to go against the will of heaven. Cultivators value the changes of heaven and earth, the rise and fall of luck, but they don't care much, and have a sense of resistance in their bones. If he had to accept his fate, he should have accepted his fate long ago with his 3 spiritual roots, thinking that foundation building was his limit, but because he didn't accept his fate, he reached the 8th level of the Purple Mansion, and had a chance of becoming a golden elixir. Boom boom boom. The two of them slammed into each other. The Killing Saint did not move, but Xuanji took a step back. Well, you can actually withstand my punch. You are qualified to fight me. This battle, even if you lose, is enough to be famous for all eternity. The Killing Saint said happily. We cultivators do not seek fame, but only longevity. Xuanji said, beyond longevity, everything is false. Yes, we cultivators of this generation pursue eternal life. Killing Saint said, after today, there will be one less fellow Taoist on the road to immortality. Kill. Xuanji's eyes turned cold, and his body turned into a blade of light. He used his body as a weapon, and chopped off the head of Killing Saint. Okay. Killing Saint stepped forward and blasted out, simplifying the complex. A simple punch, but evolved into great power. Boom boom boom. In an instant, the two clashed with each other, moving their bodies quickly and clashing quickly. The speed was too fast, so fast that ordinary cultivators could not catch any traces at all. Chapter 268, and King Fist. At this moment, in the Demon King Palace, many Demon Kings also shifted their gazes, and saw the scene of this duel. What do you think about the duel between the Killing Saint and Yifan? How did it end? Kunpeng Demon King asked. You have no idea how powerful the Killing Saint is. Jinwu Demon King said, the Killing Saint was a Demon King of the 9th level of the nascent soul in her previous life. She was a senior of the demon race, and had already touched the bottleneck of the transformation of the gods. It's a pity that she failed at the last moment and finally fell. Before she fell, she turned away, and had already reached the cultivation level of a half-step demon pill. In terms of cultivation, she was only a half-step demon pill, but her combat power was far beyond that of an ordinary half-step demon pill. After all, this was the reincarnation of a great demon of the nascent soul. This duel itself is an unfair duel. The Killing Saint was the reincarnation of the nascent soul Demon King. She had the combat experience and combat skills of her previous life. Her understanding of various magical powers and combat techniques was far superior to many cultivators. It seemed like a duel between two people of the same realm, and it seemed like a fair fight, but in fact it was not fair at all. No matter how stunning Yifan was, the moment when the Killing Saint made his move gave him enough glory, and also made him determined to kill the genius, because the Killing Saint valued him, so she killed him. The Golden Crow Demon King said, why don't we make a bet on how many moves the Killing Saint can take to kill Yifan? I win within 30 moves, and you win beyond 30 moves. At this moment, the Kunpeng Demon King smiled and said, no need to bet, they have already fought for more than 30 moves. The Golden Crow Demon King looked over and found that, originally, the Killing Saint was suppressing Yifan, and had the upper hand at the beginning, but now they were evenly matched. The more they fought, the more excited Yifan became, and his fighting power soared. In a flash, the two had already collided for 100 moves, and the onlookers were dazzled. It was too fast. The two of them were fighting fast, and the speed was too fast. Bang! On the stage, Xuanji's blood was floating. His vitality was vibrating, and storms formed in the void, and his body was injured. All of this was caused by the Killing Saint. The Killing Saint had rich combat experience, and she simplified the complex. A simple attack, however, burst out with tyrannical force, returning to the original nature, and reaching the pinnacle of perfection. Yifan, you are very talented. At least at the 8th level of the Purple Mansion, my combat power is not as good as yours. Unfortunately, your elm is too low after all. You use the armor to increase your own cultivation, but it is not your own cultivation after all. You lack thousands of years of hard work, and your moves lack smoothness and freedom. The Killing Saint said lightly, pointing out Xuanji's shortcomings, but the attack was still fierce. You should retreat now. Wait for 100 years of hard work, and then come and fight me. Bang bang. Fists hit Xuanji's armor, and sharp forces followed the armor, and injured Xuanji's body. Lu Xuanji gritted his teeth, but did not give in. Insufficient cultivation, insufficient combat experience, and insufficient comprehension. These are his flaws and shortcomings, but they are not reasons for him to retreat. The Killing Saint seemed to be persuading him to retreat, but she was also shaking his determination to fight. At this moment, his mind was shaken, his combat effectiveness declined, and defeat meant death. Haha, the saint is really powerful. You are surrounded by 3 and missing 1, which shook my state of mind. It's a pity that, if you step into the golden core, I will retreat immediately. But you are only a half-step demon core, and you can't scare me away. Lu Xuanji laughed and said, Saint, you will be defeated. Then I will send you to death. The Killing Saint's eyes were high and her aura was changing, as if she had turned into a high and mighty master. A punch condensed her momentum, and evolved into a 5-element mountain, suppressing it. Suppressing it was also the Killing aura. Suddenly, Lu Xuanji felt that his blood was restless, uneasy, and afraid. This is the fear of the lower demon clan against the upper demon clan. The pure-blooded Killing is superior to many monsters. As the king of monsters, it naturally suppresses many monsters. After practicing the 9 changes of fish and dragon, it has refined the blood of many monsters, but there is still a trace of residual will in the blood, which is afraid of the king of the monster clan. In the fear, there is also a trace of unwillingness and anger. The heavy snow presses on the green pine, and the green pine stands straight. Lu Xuanji's mind moved, mobilizing the power in his body, and many killing moves and unique skills gathered into one punch, evolving the world of mortals, the changes of immortality, and coming with an unyielding counterattack. Bang bang. The two clashed with each other. The Killing Saint was extremely cold. With the palm, Lu Xuanji was defeated step by step, and the aura on his body was broken inch by inch. My strength is a little worse after all. But the struggle of life will not be afraid of the oppression of the strong. Lu Xuanji's body swept back, and his breath was restrained, like an open bow and crossbow, suddenly bursting out, and hitting a more fierce killing move. This punch blasted out. No name. Everything was punched out according to the feeling, and according to the throbbing of the blood. With unyielding, with resistance, with fearlessness, with the cry of the lower to the upper emperor. Crash, crash. It was as if the universe was reset to 0, the universe returned to chaos, and then exploded, evolving the universe, evolving everything. Crack. The 5-element mountain broke. Under the huge shock, the Killing Saint took a step back, with surprise on her face. This was the first time she was beaten back since the battle. At this moment, Lu Xuanji finally relied on his strength to beat back the Killing Saint for the first time, and snatched back a bit of initiative. Not only that, the heart was throbbing, inspiration was flourishing, and the urge to create a method was generated. The prototype of a boxing method was brewing in his heart. This boxing method is not the strongest, but it is the most suitable for him. You are good, but that's all. The body of the Killing Saint moved, as if the waves were surging, the wind and clouds were angry, and her right hand clenched into a fist, turning into the ancient sacred mountain, which was more ferocious than before, not giving Lu Xuanji any chance at all, and killing him with one blow. Ant King Fist. Facing the fatal blow, Lu Xuanji's body power merged with some kind of mysterious will in his blood, and he seemed to turn into a weak ant. Although his body was small, he charged towards the Demon King, and killed him with one blast. Suddenly, the power of his body increased suddenly, by as much as 3 times. Bang! The body of the Killing Saint flew backwards, hitting 10 feet away, and her right arm was directly shattered. How is it possible? The Killing Saint said in horror. Take my punch. Lu Xuanji took a step forward, and activated the Ant King Fist. His body resonated with his blood, and his blood resonated with his will. In a trance, he transformed into a 1,000-pound ant, and attacked his natural enemy. He transformed into a flea, and fought against a powerful fairy enemy. He transformed into a 1,000-foot earthworm, and challenged a flying bird. He transformed into a 7-star dragonfly, and soared into the sky. He transformed into a sandworm, and fought in the vertical and horizontal battles. The Killing Saint activated the Divine Fist, and blasted to kill. But under the Ant King Fist, he was knocked out again, spitting blood from his mouth. Chapter 269 The End of the Beasttide. Boom boom boom. The two clashed again, and the Killing Saint was beaten back again and again. In the fierce battle, the Killing Saint used her skills many times to dissolve the impact. She went from being calm at the beginning to being embarrassed, but she was still beaten back again and again. Damn, why is this kid so strong? Is he from the lineage of a metal dragon, or a giant dragon, or the wild and domineering body of a human race? This strength is too great. No, even those physiques known for their great strength are not so strong. I'm a pure-blooded Killing. Although I'm not known for my strength, I'm also strong. The Killing Saint urged her fists, punching out one after another. Her moves were still fierce, but they had lost their sharpness. She urged the secret technique to continuously dissolve the impact of the force, but the more she fought, the more frustrated she became, and the more powerless she became. This human slave was getting stronger and stronger. Although his fighting skills were still poor, his fighting experience was still insufficient, and his moves had many flaws. He was able to dissolve them with great force. The dull force and the overbearing aura tore everything apart and destroyed everything. As long as the force was strong enough and fierce enough, even if there were deficiencies and flaws in the technique, it would not matter. Killing Heaven sacrifice technique. Killing Saint gritted her teeth and urged the secret technique. Suddenly, part of her luck disappeared. She offered sacrifice to the heavenly Deo and her cultivation level was at the level of half-step demon pill. Her cultivation level increased by 3 times. I'm waiting for you. Xuanji smiled and urged his body to burst out with 10 times the attack power, turning into a destructive blade light and tearing away. You. Killing Saint waved her hand and punched. This was a peak punch. After sacrificing her luck, she gained supreme power. But in front of the 10 times attack power, it was completely useless. It was like a long knife slashing and slashing at Killing Saint. Killing Saint's body was instantly torn into 2 pieces. Her vitality was dimming, and there was still horror in her eyes. Collect, refine. Xuanji took out the big cauldron, put the Killing Saint into the big cauldron, and was about to refine it directly. At this moment, a shattering force burst out from the Killing Saint, and the heaven-devouring cauldron broke apart immediately. A ray of light wrapped around its broken body, and disappeared into the distance. Damn, is this the effect of the backstage? Xuanji sighed. Looking at the heaven-devouring cauldron, that was broken into 7 or 8 pieces, he felt distressed. The big cauldron was broken, but the key was that no one was killed. With a backstage to save the emperor, if you lose but not die, you can still make a comeback, but without a backstage, if you lose, you will die, and there will be no chance to come back. Who dares to fight? Xuanji took back the broken big cauldron and shouted loudly. Yifan, is he really the reincarnation of the Emperor of Heaven? About 1,000 miles away, a handsome man looked at the mirror. In the mirror, it was a scene of the Killing Saint and Yifan fighting, and the 2 sides fought fiercely and fought continuously. The battle scene was extremely bloody and cruel. At the beginning, the Killing Saint had the upper hand, but gradually Yifan gained an overwhelming advantage, especially when he used some secret technique at the end, which suddenly burst out with 10 times the attack power, instantly tearing the body of the Killing Saint. When he was about to completely refine her, the Golden Crow Demon King rescued the Killing Saint. Legend has it that the Killing Saint was a supreme cultivator of the 9th level of the nascent soul in her previous life. Her cultivation was amazing, and many demon kings owed her favors. The Golden Crow Demon King was a protector. It would be inappropriate. If I fought him, it would be inappropriate. The Little Stone Emperor calculated, but shook his head. He was originally a piece of stubborn stone in the 10,000 mountains, and later absorbed the essence of the sun and the moon, giving birth to a trace of spirituality. After 1,000,000 years of gestation, he was born, and he was just born with the cultivation of the golden core. Under the guidance of a demon king, he cut off the origin, sealed it in the flesh, and started practicing again from key training. In order to consolidate the foundation, his cultivation speed was very slow, and it took him 1,000 years to reach the half-step demon pill. I'm no match for him. Let's leave. The Little Stone Emperor flashed and left directly. On a mountain peak, looking at the scene in the distance, the Black Dragon Demon King shook his head, disappeared. He chose to avoid the battle. Not being able to defeat the enemy is nothing. Not being able to defeat the enemy, but not admitting that you can't do it, forcing yourself to go up and seek death, is a fool's brain. Lu Xuanji was shouting, but the first one did not appear, and the second one did not appear. The demons that were originally surrounding all fled away. It seemed that they didn't pay any attention to his shouting. Where is the integrity of the demon clan? Is there no strong man in the demon clan? Is the demon king list a waste list? Lu Xuanji shouted, like a big villain, but the more he shouted, the faster the demons fled. The more he shouted, the less powerful he was. Stop provoking me. At this moment, true Lord Kinglian stepped forward and said, just now, I felt that little stone emperor, black dragon demon king, and some other demon clan geniuses have evacuated. They can't hear your shouting, nor will they care. Lu Xuanji shouted, why aren't they angry? If you scold them like this, why don't they come up to fight me? If it were a young man in his 20s or 30s, he might be impulsive and angry, and come with a knife to chop people. But they are all hundreds or thousands of years old monsters. They have long been mature in mind. They fight with wits, courage, and ruthlessness, but they just don't fight with anger. True Lord Kinglian said, the combat effectiveness of the top 3 strong men on the Demon King list is not much different. The Killing Saint was almost beaten to death by you, and the other cultivators were also very afraid, so they naturally chose to evacuate. As for your few harsh words, they were equivalent to not hearing them. Lu Xuanji said speechlessly, are they just like turtles? True Lord Kinglian said, what if they are not cowards? Are they going to fight you and then be beaten to death by you? They are not that stupid. The demon cultivators who have cultivated to the Purple Mansion realm are also in the upper middle level of the demon clan. They have a bright future and unlimited possibilities. Why should they die here just for fighting spirit? They are not stupid. The master should not raise an army in anger, and the general should not fight in anger. If they cannot even control their emotions, after cultivating to the Purple Mansion realm, they would have been beaten to death long ago. With that, true Lord Kinglian took Lu Xuanji back to Xiang Mountain. This duel ended in a whimper. Originally, he wanted to directly kill the leaderboard and wash everything with blood, so that the young ones would wither, but in the actual battle, he only defeated the Kill Insane girl, which made the other demons afraid and evacuated. There is no backbone at all, and no determination to fight for the glory of the demon clan. All this is unpleasant, but it also makes him see the fear of death of those senior cultivators. Key refining monsters and foundation building monsters are all fearless and brave, but after arriving at the Purple Mansion monsters, Golden Core monsters, and Ascent Soul monsters are all extremely afraid of death. Not only the monsters, but also the human race. After arriving at the Purple Mansion, most cultivators are extremely afraid of death. 10 days later, the monsters began to evacuate. The beast tide ended. Later, true Lord Xiao returned to Xiang Mountain, but saw Lu Xuanji looking dejected. A very unhappy expression. Jinzi stepped forward and asked, Xuanji, what happened? Lu Xuanji smiled and said, nothing, I just feel a little unhappy when I think that the monsters are so afraid of death and so spineless. Chapter 270 Lu family recent situation. In the cave, a man and a woman were leaning against each other. The woman was wearing a white dress with a light golden edge and silver dots on it. She had a smile on her face and let the man lean on her chest, listening to him talk about everything that had happened over the years, about his experience of fighting with the demon clan geniuses, and about his experience of killing. The demon clan geniuses are too cowardly. I only defeated the Killing Saint, and they all ran away. Do they still have the pride of being a genius? Lu Xuanji lay on the young lady's chest, rubbing against her, and complained in his heart. Shouldn't they have an invincible heart of Tao? Shouldn't they have the arrogance and domineering attitude of God is the boss and I'm the second in command? Why are they all like whales, lacking a bit of momentum? Jinzi smiled and said, that Killing Saintess is the reincarnation of the Demon King. In her previous life, she had already reached the peak of the nascent soul stage, and she died, and came back after the catastrophe. In this life, she has a deeper foundation and richer combat experience, but she was defeated by you. Who of those demon geniuses can be your opponent? Since you can't defeat them, then evacuate. Are you going to die directly? To have an invincible heart of Tao, you need to be invincible throughout your life. You cannot be defeated even once in your life. As long as you lose once, no matter who you lose to, your heart of Tao will be shattered, and your future will be ruined. Among us cultivators, some pursue the heart of Tao to live forever, some pursue the heart of Tao to protect their family, some pursue the heart of Tao to protect their race, and some pursue the heart of Tao to forget emotions, but there is no invincible heart of Tao. No one dares to say that he is undefeated in his life. There are too many strong people in the world, and there are always higher mountains. The older generation will not teach the younger generation to have an invincible heart, but will say that they are not afraid of defeat. As long as they are not dead, there are infinite possibilities. The battle between the strong is not a one-time victory or defeat, but a long battle of decades, even hundreds of years, or even thousands of years. The killing saint, the background is too strong, too difficult to kill. If the Golden Crow Demon King had not taken action, I would have killed it, Xuanji said unwillingly. Xuanji did not say anything, but he was muttering in his heart. The Killing Saint, whose body is the 5-element Killing, controls part of the power of luck, can adjust the changes in her own luck, and can even use her own luck to continuously resolve disasters. Before the luck is exhausted, it is difficult to kill. The two were lingering and talking intimately. About 3 days later, they said goodbye and returned to the Lu family. The beast tide was extremely fierce, but the Lu family was safe and worry-free, with relatively small losses. At present, the Lu family has 5 purple mansion monks in charge, and there is a 4th grade formation to protect the family. It takes a long time and a huge price for ordinary giant and monster kings to break through. Seeing that the Lu family is a hedgehog, many monsters only attack for a moment, and then take a detour. At present, even if the Lu family leaves him, they can be safe and worry-free. In this beast tide, the Lu family sent a purple mansion monk and 50 foundation building monks to fight at Teeling Pass. At the time of returning, there were only 30 foundation building monks, but the spirit of these 30 foundation building monks was greatly improved, and the state of mind was improved significantly. Not long after, I met the elder. After taking the longevity pill, the elder's lifespan increased to hundreds of years. He turned into a middle-aged man. He had already transformed the sword essence into mana, and entered the half-step Giandan realm. He was planning to retreat to impact the perfection of spirit in spirit, and prepare for forging the Giandan. I'm going into seclusion. The elder said, I thought the 3rd level of the purple mansion was the end. I didn't expect you to fight for me for the chance to enter the golden core. How can I be willing if I don't fight? Come on. Xuanji said, the road is long. If the elder can enter the golden core, his lifespan will be 1,000 years, and he can also contribute to the Lu family. If the elder unfortunately passes away, the Lu family will be under my control. Wait for me, the elder said, without saying anything big, and went into seclusion. Before the seclusion, some auxiliary pills and some rare spiritual medicines were prepared, and they went to fight with their lives. When they arrived in front of Yuanai's cave, the cave was closed, and there was a sign of seclusion at the door. Yuanai was still in seclusion. This seclusion will take at least 30 years. There are still 20 years before leaving the seclusion. When Xuanji sat down in the hall, the elders of law enforcement, merit, heavenly craftsmanship, and the elders of the alchemy hall came forward and began to report the financial income of the Lu family in the past 10 years, as well as various expenses, the newly born monks in the family, the newly established monks, the guest elders, the monks who married into the Lu family, etc. These things are not very important, but they are the foundation of the Lu family. The clan leader can choose not to ask, but they cannot help but report. Looking through the account books and asking about the Lu family, the development of the Lu family is clear in mind. Up to now, the number of mortals under the Lu family has reached more than 10 million, and there are more than 5,000 monks. There are more than 3,500 monks in the Lu family and more than 1,500 monks from other surnames. Monks from other surnames who want to join the Lu family must have at least 3 spiritual roots or a skill. Among the many monks, the number of monks who have established their foundation has reached more than 200. There are quite a lot of them, which has a lot to do with the fact that he relaxed the restrictions on foundation building pills and the increase in the number of chalcedony mushrooms. Among the many cultivators, there are alchemists, weapon refiners, spiritual plant masters, array masters, etc., with more than 80 people, and several of them are talented and have great training value. The Lu family has 8 spiritual mountains, 3 3rd grade spiritual veins, and 5 20th grade spiritual veins. As for other minerals, there are dozens of them. There are shops in major market towns and many industries. A rough estimate shows that the Lu family earns 1 million spiritual stones and spends 700,000 spiritual stones every year. There are also various rare minerals, spiritual medicines, treasures, etc., which have entered the treasury one after another and have a relatively rich financial foundation. A rough inventory shows that there is already a surplus of 13 million spiritual stones in the treasury. Over the years, he has been constantly transfusing blood to the Lu family and has been subsidizing the development of the Lu family, but in recent years, the Lu family has a certain amount of excess wealth, which can be subsidized to him to support his next development. After counting everything, he went to the medicine garden. The 3rd grade medicinal materials can be harvested. He rarely refines 2nd grade and 3rd grade elixirs, but directly hands them over to other people in the Lu family. The 4th grade medicinal materials are still growing, and it will take 40 years to mature. Only the 4th grade elixir is worth his effort to refine. In the center of the medicine garden, there is a spiritual tree more than 10 feet tall, with a tall and beautiful trunk and 9 branches, like a blue dragon, and golden veins on the leaves. Approaching the spiritual tree, you will immediately feel that the spiritual energy has become richer, exuding a sense of purity, giving people a feeling of sobriety and comfort in the soul. This spiritual tree is the creation fruit tree. The grade is a bit low, only 2nd grade, which seems boring and redundant. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 271. Lu Xuanji teaches his son. The fruit tree of good fortune is only of the 2nd grade. The 2nd grade good fortune fruit is useless to him. To be useful to him, at least the 4th grade is needed. But if the good fortune fruit tree wants to grow to the 4th grade, it will take another 300 years under the conditions that all conditions are met. But after 300 years, he would have already achieved the golden elixir, or turned into ashes, and there would be no need for the 4th grade good fortune fruit tree. The growth rate of spiritual trees is too slow. Only after the ancestors planted the trees, and after thousands or tens of thousands of years, the descendants can enjoy the fruits. As for me, I can't enjoy it. Lu Xuanji sighed. Many times, the cultivators planted spiritual medicines and spiritual trees, but they could not enjoy the benefits themselves, but the descendants could. Back then, after Lu Changsheng, the ancestor of the Lu family, entered the foundation building stage, he took 3 female cultivators as wives and concubines, and founded the Lu family. This ancestor of the Lu family planted the jade marrow in the medicine garden. Because there was no senior spiritual plant master to ripen it, it could only rely on natural growth. When the ancestor passed away, the jade marrow was not yet mature. The descendants continued to take care of it until 300 years later, when the chalcedony mushroom matured. Picking 3 chalcedony mushrooms, the Lu family alchemist refined 7 foundation building pills, and trained 3 foundation building monks for the family. The Lu family had a stable source of foundation building pills, and then a stable source of foundation building pills. The foundation was no longer based on luck, but had a certain reliability and probability. Similarly, many immortal cultivation families planted spiritual trees, took good care of them every year, and continuously fertilized them, but it often took 2,000 years, 3,000 years, and several generations of efforts to wait until the moment when the spiritual tree matured. Many times, the predecessors worked hard to plant trees, but they could not enjoy the fruits, and only the descendants could enjoy them. After looking around the medicine garden, Lu Xuanji returned to the cave. He took out the token and summoned the 2nd brother. About half a day later, Lu Fan appeared in the cave, knelt down respectfully and kowtowed, saying, "My son, I meet my father." It's the 5th level of key refining. The speed is not fast or slow, and it is promoted 1 level every 5 years on average. Xuanji commented, "Thank you, Father, for improving my spiritual root grade and balancing the 5 element so that I can have the current step." Lu Fan said, "Get up." Xuanji said. Lu Fan stood up and stood respectfully aside. At this time, Xuanji looked at his son carefully. He hadn't seen him for 15 years. His son's appearance had not changed much, but his temperament was more mature, and there was a hint of self-confidence. According to the current cultivation speed, there is still hope to enter the 9th level of key refining before the age of 70, and there is some hope to build a foundation. But thinking of Lu Fan's poor qualifications, at least 5 foundation building pills must be prepared. No, at least 10 foundation building pills must be prepared. When the foundation is built, remember to remind your father. I will prepare a foundation building pill for you. Xuanji said. "My son, thank you father." Lu Fan said, "I got a skill that can refine demon blood, improve bloodline potential, and improve physical qualifications. As for how much effect it has, it depends on your luck." Xuanji said, and pointed his finger to pass on a skill called Dragon Transformation Art. Comprehending the secret of 9 transformations of fish and dragon, Xuanji absorbed many secrets of the exercises, used his mobile phone to deduce, and created the Dragon Transformation Art. As for the Dragon Transformation Art, its grade is very low, and it is only suitable for key training cultivators, but it can tap the spirit to improve their potential. This is also the first time he has deduced an exercise for the family cultivators. Yi Fixu has good qualifications and does not need it. Yi Wanai's qualifications are relatively poor, but she does not need it either. The eldest son Lu Zan has good qualifications and does not need it either. Only the son Lu Fan has poor qualifications, average comprehension, and average luck, so he can only help him. "Thank you, father," Lu Fan said gratefully. "This is the essence of a purple mansion peacock. The will inside has been completely refined by me. It is pure and flawless. It can help you improve your physique and even further improve your spiritual root grade and cultivation speed." Xuanji took out a jade bottle and said, "My son, thank you, father." Lu Fan was moved. The world of immortal cultivation is inherently indifferent to emotions. The son with good qualifications mainly cultivates and expands the family. The son with poor qualifications gives birth to offspring and multiplies the family. At the beginning, his mother planned to let him have more offspring, mostly to multiply the family's offspring. Only his father did not give up on him. Don't be a little woman. Your father can't help you too much. At most, he can help you prove the golden elixir. The road after the golden elixir needs you to walk. Xuanji said. Lu Fan didn't say much. He sat here and began to practice the dragon transformation technique while refining the peacock bloodline. Humans have 5 spiritual roots, representing the 5 element. The demon clan has peacocks, 5 element unicorns, etc., which also control the 5 element. It's not that the 5 spiritual root cultivators can't practice, but it costs a lot of resources and time in the early stage, and ordinary cultivators can't bear it at all. Many 5 spiritual root cultivators can't grow up, and they just sit and die halfway. But the peacock lineage, the 5 element unicorn, etc., are all immortal species of the demon clan. Their lifespan is 5 times that of humans, or even 10 times. It's not a big problem if the cultivation speed is a little slower, but the human race is a short-lived species. If the cultivation speed is a little slower, then the lifespan will be exhausted and die. Time is passing. In the middle moment, because of the conflict between human blood and peacock demon blood, Lu Fan went astray several times. His body exploded several times, but he was rescued by Xuanji. In the later period, the conflict of blood was relieved, and Lu Fan became a half human and half demon state. Xuanji directly threw his son into the bushlanding and began to refine the cultivator like refining pills. About 5 years later, the half-human and half-demon state disappeared, and Lu Fan completely digested the peacock demon blood. His body was as strong as a magic weapon, and his physique was greatly improved. Running the exercises, the speed of spiritual energy absorption was faster, comparable to second spiritual root inferior. The body was even more glittering, flashing with colorful treasure light. "Thank you, father, the child has forged a 5-element treasure body," Lu Fan said happily. The 5-element treasure body is ultimately inferior to the 5-element Dao body. If you evolve into the 5-element Dao body in the future, you will have a promising future, Lu Xuanji said. In the world of cultivation, there are special physiques, which are ranked in order of grade: spirit body, treasure body, Dao body, immortal body, etc. The spirit body is naturally close to spiritual energy, and absorbs spiritual energy faster than ordinary cultivators. The advantage can last until the purple mansion. Even ordinary cultivators will inevitably transform into spirit bodies after cultivating to the purple mansion realm, opening the acupuncture points and meridians throughout the body, and experiencing the wind and fire disasters. The treasure body is strong, like a magic weapon, with super strong combat power, and the potential limit is the golden elixir. When ordinary cultivators enter the golden elixir, they will all condense a treasure body. The Dao body is innately close to the Tao, and there are naturally formed Dao patterns in the body, which makes it easier to touch the Tao. The potential limit is the integration of the Tao. Even ordinary cultivators can enter the integration of the Tao realm, merge with the Tao, and form Dao patterns in the body, evolving into the supreme Tao body. As for the immortal body, the upper limit is the immortal. Let me ask, which of those monks who have become immortals does not have an immortal body? Mortal body, spiritual body, treasure body, Taoist body, immortal body, etc. refer to the difference in innate constitution, and even more, so the direction of physical evolution. Some people are on the way to Rome, some are halfway to Rome, and some have already arrived in Rome. This also illustrates the characteristics of constitution. Is constitution important? Not at all. As long as you become an immortal, you must have an immortal body, but constitution is very important. The probability of becoming an immortal with a mortal body is very low, but if you have a Taoist body and an immortal body, the probability of becoming an immortal will increase accordingly. Chapter 272 9 Divine Forms. Father, the 5-element treasure body is enough, Lu Fan said. This is the great 5-element divine thunder, the 5-element divine sword, the 5-color divine light, the 5-element divine needle, etc. How much you can comprehend depends on your luck. Lu Xuanji pointed his finger and put some memories deep in his son's soul. These memories are in a sealed state, but with the improvement of cultivation and comprehension, they will be gradually unsealed. As for how much you can understand and comprehend, it depends on your son's luck. Walking out of the cave, calculating the time, 10 years have passed. Father, Lu Fan kowtowed 3 times directly in front of the cave. He was grateful to his father. His father had a good aptitude, even better than his mother and the elder. But now, his mother is a half-step golden elixir, and the elder is also a half-step golden elixir. On the contrary, his father is only the 8th level of the purple mansion. It is because he worries too much about the family, resulting in a relatively reduced time for cultivation, and his energy is scattered on other things. It's like his father is instructing him to practice the dragon transformation technique, refine the peacock blood, evolve the 5-element treasure body, etc., which took a full 10 years. How much his father loved him. After he kowtowed, there was no response. Apparently his father was too lazy to pay attention. Standing up, Lu Fan thought of something. My father has good talent and good understanding, but the only woman close to him is my mother, my aunt who is nowhere to be found, and Yiling Lan who has passed away. My father has too few lovers, only 3. How can that be enough? Back then, it was my mother who took the initiative to give birth to my 2 brothers. According to my father's love for my mother, I will not have a brother and sister in the future. The family cultivates immortals. The family cultivates immortals. There must be a population. Only then there is a family. But my eldest brother is busy cultivating, and now he is alone. The task of inheriting the Lu family and reproducing descendants can only be handed over to me. I now have 5 wives and 20 sons, but it is still not enough. I have to marry at least 30 wives, and the number of sons must also be increased to 100. The task of inheriting and reproducing the family and growing stronger can only rely on me thinking of this. Lu Fan became more determined. There are some things that my father will not do, and my eldest brother disdains to do, so he can only do it. In order to prosper the family, he had to marry more wives and concubines, sleep with more women, and reproduce and expand the family. Only in this way would the Lu family be meaningful, and everything his father did would be meaningful. However, it was not enough to rely on female cultivators who practiced key refining. There were also female cultivators who practiced foundation building and purple mansion. Quantity was important, but quality was more important. After teaching his son for 10 years, Lu Xuanji was relieved. There was no time limit for cultivating immortals, and the scale of time and mind was different. He was worried that he would forget his son after a retreat. So he made some preparations for his son in advance, and handled some things for his son. Next, comprehend the Ant King Fist. Lu Xuanji sat upright on the bed, recalling and thinking about the battle with the Killing Saint. Fighting is the best time to comprehend. In battle, the essence of life is improving. There is a famous saying in the previous life, that a soldier who survives 10 years of bloody battles must be a famous general. Similarly, in the world of cultivating immortals, a cultivator who has experienced hundreds of battles and survived in blood will not be bad in combat. The 9 changes of fish and dragon is not simple. When I first practiced it, I regarded it as a top-level clone technique, which could evolve into 9 incarnations for battle. Later, I understood the secret of its devouring demon blood and evolving bloodline, but at the moment of battle, I realized the will of martial arts and the will of supernatural powers. Everything has its will. If its own will cannot match the will of martial arts, it is difficult to achieve perfection. No wonder the Yuan-Si Sky Sword cannot be perfected. It lacks that will. Lu Xuanji pondered and vaguely understood some problems. Many supernatural powers and spells, after being cultivated to great success, have been unable to achieve perfection. In the past, he thought it was because of his lack of understanding and insufficient qualifications. Now it seems that it is not just that, but more of a lack of will fit. A cultivator with water spiritual roots cannot enter the heavenly fire art at all. Even if he is forced to enter, it will be half the result with twice the effort. Similarly, for a cultivator who likes to plot and scheme, it is not suitable for him to perform some domineering attacks such as hammer and knife techniques. The character of the cultivator, to a certain extent, determines the type and direction of the magical power. Compatibility is very important. It is not only the spiritual root attributes and body attributes of the cultivator that are compatible, but also the personality attributes. Standing up, Lu Xuanji disappeared. When he arrived at the martial arts field, he operated and urged the Ant King Fist. His body was buzzing, and his essence and ki were combined, and his spirit and mind were combined. Every punch he threw was extremely powerful. The Ant King Fist was in a perfect state when it evolved. In terms of grade, the Ant King Fist was only between the minor and major magical powers, but it was in a perfect state when it was created. Among his many magical powers, it was the most powerful. At this moment, Lu Xuanji understood why those top geniuses like to create their own skills and magical powers. Their own skills and magical powers are full of flaws in the early stage. At the peak, they may not be as good as those top magical powers. However, they are perfectly matched with themselves and can exert their power to 100% with unprecedented combat power and unexpected invincibility. As for practicing other people's skills, even if they are cultivated to the perfect state, the matching rate is only 90% or 95%, and it can never reach 100%. The comprehension continued, evolving the boxing skills, and in a trance, it turned into 1,000-pound ant, fighting and fighting in the forest. Then, it evolved into a flea, bursting with powerful attack power. It evolved into a 7-star dragonfly, with an extremely fast speed. It evolved into a sandworm, crawling in the sand. Continuously evolving, constantly comprehending the 9 monsters, understanding them, getting familiar with them, and gradually producing a resonance of the soul. The 9 great monsters, such as Kai and Janant, are low-level monsters, at the bottom of the food chain, struggling to fight against various monsters in the disaster of the box to survive. But the Lu family, and him, are also at the bottom of the food chain in the world of cultivation. Constantly comprehending and evolving, it was the 10th year. Lu Xuanji suddenly closed his eyes and fell into comprehension. After a long time, he opened his eyes and carved 3 words on the stone tablet with his fingers. 9 god forms. Using his fingers as a pen, he carved one word after another on the stone tablet. This is the comprehension of the past 10 years. The comprehension of 10 years is just a prototype, not a system, but it condenses his comprehension of the great way. Crack, crack. As if unable to withstand the force, the stone tablet shattered on the spot. What a pity. What a pity. I have spent 10 years trying to comprehend the 9 great beasts and use them as the basis to evolve into 9 divine forms. Unfortunately, I'm not smart enough and my comprehension is limited. I have only comprehended the Ant King divine form, Dragonfly divine form, and Flea divine form. Chapter 273. Since ancient times, there have been no mortals who have made the golden elixir. Divine form, abandoning the external form, evolving its divine intention, rather than becoming a half-demon, half-human state. Ant Emperor divine form. Xuanji practiced the technique, and suddenly the muscles of his body were changing, and his strength was strangely increasing. At the same time, a strong discomfort was surging. The upper limit of the physical body was broken, the upper limit of the strength was broken, the upper limit of the speed was broken, the upper limit of the soul was broken, and the upper limit of the true essence was broken, all of which surged to 12 times. The heart beat faster, as if the heart would explode in the next moment. At this moment, the blood in the body lost control, the yin and yang were in chaos, the 5 element were in chaos, the realm did not change, but the cultivation was in the lower road of arrogance. Boom boom boom. A punch was thrown, and the air was exploding. A punch was thrown and destroyed everything. As his figure flashed, Xuanji was like a humanoid giant beast tearing everything apart and destroying everything. The breath he burst out was enough to compete with it in the late Jiandan period. Boom boom boom. After 3 seconds, Xuanji's body exploded. His body was broken, his arms were broken, his heart was broken, and he was torn into 7 or 8 pieces on the spot, and blood was scattered on the ground. The violent power also dissipated. Running the secret technique, the broken body was condensed, the broken arms were connected together, the broken body was connected together, and the heart was repaired. After about 10 breaths, he stood up again, but his face was pale and his vitality was greatly damaged, as if he had a serious illness. Ahem. As expected, the eternal energy conservation must be observed. Xuanji ran the technique, absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, and repairing his body with insufficient blood and ki. The Ant King divine form is more of a secret technique than a magical power. Activating the Ant King divine form, Xuanji immediately broke the shackles of the flesh, the shackles of the true essence, and the shackles of the soul. The realm is still the 8th level of the purple mansion, but the cultivation is improved by 12 times, enough to compete with the late Jiandan. But the price was that all functions of the body fell into chaos, and after 3 seconds, the body exploded. If it weren't for his strong body repair ability, he would have died on the spot at that moment. He had tried to reduce the intensity of the explosion to 9 times, 6 times, and 3 times, and increase the duration, but it turned out that he couldn't do it at all. Instead, because of hesitation, he didn't have the breath of a last-ditch battle, which was inconsistent with his will, and he lost the essence of the Ant King divine form. The Ant King divine form is similar to the heavenly demon disintegration technique, the crazy demon life reduction pill, the flame burning body technique, and other desperate skills. If he can't kill the enemy after performing it, then he will die. It's not a conventional trick, but a desperate secret technique. His footsteps flashed, urging the Flea divine form, and a Xuanji heavenly sword condensed in his palm. Swish. In an instant, it chopped and killed. At this moment, the power of the Xuanji heavenly sword was amplified by the Flea divine form in an instant, increasing its attack power to 12 times. He was urging the pure yang true fire again, and the power of the pure yang true fire was also increased to 12 times. Under the amplification of the Flea divine form, the destructive power of these 2 magical powers was greatly increased, almost destructive. As for the price, it was that in one blow, 7 layers of true essence were consumed. The defect was that when the amplification was increased, there would be a 3-second accumulation stage. During the accumulation stage, it was easy for the enemy to find the abnormality and break the accumulation. If the enemy had foresight in advance, he could dodge in advance and then attack fiercely. If he didn't hit anyone, it would be useless. Finally, he urged the dragonfly divine form, and his body was moving quickly, with extremely fast speed, flexible turning, short acceleration, fast turning, etc., all of which were outstanding. And king divine form, flea divine form, etc., are all trump cards, and cannot be used easily. Once used, either the enemy will die, or you will die. It is dangerous for the enemy, but it is also dangerous for yourself. However, dragonfly divine form is mainly based on speed, and can be used routinely with minimal side effects. Golden light is faster, and can be activated like a rocket launch, suitable for long distance escape, running for dozens of miles, almost without a shadow. Dragonfly divine form has great advantages in short acceleration, acceleration of 100 meters, and fast turning, suitable for changing shapes and attacking enemies in battle. In the martial arts hall, Xuanji's figure flashed, constantly activating the 3 divine forms, constantly fluctuating and changing. He was familiar with the secrets of the 3 divine forms, but the more familiar he was, the more helpless he felt. Activating the Ant King divine form, breaking the limit of the human body, can burst out 12 times the cultivation. Activating the flea divine form can instantly increase the attack power to 12 times. 12 times, it seems to be the limit. He can't break it no matter what, and can't turn it into 13 times. But in contrast, the Xuanji ant can easily burst out 1000 times the power, and the flea can burst out 100 times the attack power, which is much higher than his 12 times, and there are no side effects. But correspondingly, their body size is too small and the upper limit is too low. The Xuanji ant can burst out 1000 times the power, but it can't defeat the weakest rabbit monster. The flea's attack power is 100 times, but it is not lower than a flying bird. Supernatural powers cannot defeat cultivation, it seems to be said of Xuanji ants and fleas. After practicing again and again, constantly getting familiar with the comprehension, at this moment, the aura of the whole body changed, breaking the shackles in cultivation, and entering the 9th level of the Purple Mansion. After staying for 80 years, he finally broke the shackles, and entered the peak of the Purple Mansion. At this moment, he suddenly felt a change in the aura, and Xuanji came out of retreat. On the bed, the battle was going on. It's been about 30 years since we last met, so it's natural to show affection. After the clouds and rain stopped, Xuanji asked about the things that happened in the past few years, and Xuanji responded roughly, saying some love words to each other. During the weekend, he carefully felt the results of Xuanji's 30 years of retreat and hard work. All the true essence was transformed into mana, and the mana was 25 Jiazi, which could condense a middle grade golden elixir, but it was still a little far from the top grade. In terms of mana quality, it was comparable to the first transformation of the golden elixir. In terms of magical powers, the Ice Soul Divine Thunder was a great success, the Ice Soul Divine Light was a minor success, and the Ice Possession was a minor success. However, in terms of the soul, there was still something lacking, and it was not yet perfect. The physical body was relatively weak and not perfect. There were deficiencies in the control of mana. In terms of spirit, energy, and spirit, only the energy was perfect, and the spirit and spirit were not yet perfect. Here you go. As he spoke, Xuanji handed over 3 pill bottles. This is the creation pill, the golden body pill, and the soul pill. Xuanji said with surprise. The creation pill can expand the volume of the danshan and increase the upper limit of the mana. The golden body pill can temper the physical body and make the physical body perfect. The soul pill can temper the soul and make it perfect. These pills are a bit expensive, at least 7 million spirit stones. If you add the 7 million spirit stones I consumed last time, I have lost 15 million spirit stones in order to achieve the golden pill. The Lu family needs to accumulate for 130 years to have such wealth. Xuanji calculated. The more she calculated, the more she felt that the money wasted. This is because you have better qualifications and spend less resources. If your qualifications are worse, the spirit stones you spend may be 20 million, 30 million, or even 50 million. Lu Xuanji said, it's okay to lose a huge amount of spirit stones, but if you die halfway, you will lose all your money. Since ancient times, there have been no mortals who can achieve the golden pill. Those who can achieve the golden pill are all outstanding geniuses, monsters who are against the sky, and have amazing luck. They can be called ancestors. Chapter 274 The Sixth Purple Mansion of the Lu Family. This is a foreseeable investment, and there are also unknown life and human disasters, and heavenly disasters, which increase the risk of Jinden. Even if Lu Xuanji prepares these things for her, there is no guarantee that they are 90% sure. Accidents may occur at any time, and she may fall into the disaster. Husband, I'm going to retreat. This time I may retreat to the death, strive to perfect my spirit, and trigger the disaster later. If everything succeeds, I will be a Jinden when I come out of retreat again. If something unexpected happens, I can only apologize to my husband. Xuanji said. A trace of determination flashed across her expression. Okay, I'll wait for you, Lu Xuanji said. Then, there was lingering and affection again, as if they were about to merge together. Xuanji put down her cultivation and walked outside with her husband, traveling through mountains and rivers, enjoying the scenery, watching the sunrise and sunset, and enjoying the beauty of life. About 3 years later, Xuanji retreated again. This time, she would retreat to the death. If she failed, she would die. There was no third choice. He respected her choice. Sensing a certain cave, the elder was also in seclusion, tempering his spirit, energy, and spirit, striving to achieve perfection in the 3 aspects. Even if he could not achieve perfection, he had to be close to perfection. Only in this way can we see clearly where our limits are and how far we are from the golden elixir. The eldest son, Lu Xian, was traveling outside, and no one knew where he was. However, according to the calculation, this son was very safe and would have some adventures. The second son was honing his cultivation, and not long ago he married 2 female cultivators at the 9th level of key training, and began to make a baby. In just over a decade, Lu Fan's offspring were increasing, and his wives and concubines gave birth to 12 sons for him. As for the other cultivators in the family, they were also doing their own things in an orderly manner. At this moment, I felt a huge breath rising from a certain cave, exuding a terrifying breath. There were cultivators attacking the purple mansion, and it seemed that they had succeeded. At this time, the strange phenomena of heaven and earth were aroused, and heaven and earth were celebrating. The strange phenomena were surging, and streams of spiritual energy turned into vortexes and swept over. After a quarter of an hour, the strange phenomenon disappeared. A certain cultivator walked out of the cave. It's him. He actually entered the purple mansion realm. His aptitude is not good, but it seems that he also has a chance. Lu Xuanji smiled. This cultivator is an acquaintance from the same generation as him, named Lu Xuanwen. This tribe member also had a great adventure. During a certain journey, he obtained the supreme magical power, Great 5-element Yin and Yang Yuan Magnetic Universe Extinction Divine Sword, which was first presented to him. Afterwards, he was unable to practice this supreme magical power, but he used it to deduce the Yuan Magnetic Heavenly Sword, which became one of his main killing magical powers. This tribe member has poor aptitude, only for spiritual roots, but he became a purple mansion cultivator. Obviously, he had a chance outside. But what exactly was the chance? Lu Xuanji was too lazy to ask. Who doesn't have a little secret? Who doesn't have a little adventure? Too bad luck, too few opportunities. There is no chance to become a purple mansion cultivator. Congratulations. At this time, cultivators came forward one after another and congratulated. The 6th purple mansion cultivator of the Lu family was born. Congratulations. Lu Xuanji also stepped forward and said, "Thank you for your cultivation, clan leader." Lu Xuanwen said gratefully. Although he had a chance encounter, the cultivation of the family was also very important. It was because of the 2 purple mansion pills exchanged from the family that he was able to forge the purple mansion. Since you can become a purple mansion cultivator, please come with me to register. I will tell you about the treatment of becoming a purple mansion cultivator. First of all, after becoming a purple mansion cultivator, you will automatically be promoted to the Grand Elder. You don't need to manage various things at ordinary times. The only thing you need to do is to practice hard and improve your cultivation. Secondly, after becoming a Grand Elder, you will receive a salary of 100,000 spirit stones every year, a third grade cave, and you can also owe 2 million spirit stones to the family on credit. Third, after becoming a Grand Elder, it is best to become a third grade weapon refiner or a third grade formation master to contribute to the family. Fourth, after becoming a Grand Elder, you will have a task every 30 years, mainly to sit in the family, cultivate the family's genius, or other basic things. Fifth, Xuanji personally introduced some rules and welfare benefits. In the family, in the allocation of resources, the pattern of 6, 3 and 1 is upheld. That is, among the spirit stones of the family's income, 6 layers belong to the Purple Mansion cultivators, 3 layers belong to the foundation building cultivators, and 1 layer belongs to the key refining cultivators. The annual salary of the key training monks at the bottom is very small, even worse than that of the casual cultivators, but the advantage is that the welfare is good. As long as you are willing to work hard, you can get a lot of extra income every year. The 997 model, low salary and high bonus. This is the situation faced by the monks at the bottom of the family. After the foundation building, the basic salary will increase accordingly, but the family's tasks will also increase. The more family tasks you complete, the more income you will get, the more bonuses you will get, the overall welfare and treatment will be greatly improved, but the corresponding exploitation is also increasing. Only after reaching the Purple Mansion, you will become the top of the family. You enjoy the highest welfare and treatment, which belongs to less work, more money, close to home, high position, power, and light responsibility. For the Purple Mansion monks, there are no mandatory tasks, the highest degree of freedom, and only require the completion of some basic tasks. This is the Lu family's secret library, which is one of the foundations of my Lu family. There are some treasures in it, which is also good for the Purple Mansion monks. You can take some things from it, but remember to put some treasures in it afterwards to complete it. Xuanji introduced and entered the secret library. The secret library is just a room of 30 square meters, which only contains some books and some treasures. There are few in number, but each one is a fine product. In terms of skills, there are Bihan Zhenjing, Xian Xuanju, Wuliang Zhao Heju, etc. There are about 13 skills, all of which can be cultivated to Jiandan or even Yuanying. There are 12 great supernatural powers, such as Xian Huo Dafa, Yuanzi Xian Dao, Xian Mu Dafa, Bingpo Shenlei, Bingpo Shengang, and Sui Lia Guangzan. In terms of elixirs, there are 3 grade Pure Yang Dan, 3 grade Nirvana Dan, 3 grade Zifu Dan, and 3 grade Wuliang Dan. In terms of medicinal materials, there are 3 grade Fortune Fruit, 4 grade Shineling Grass, 4 grade Fairy Ganoderma Lucidum, etc. In terms of materials, there are Fortune Iron, Thunderwood, Zuan Mingshen Iron, etc. Looking at these treasures, Lu Zuanwen felt dizzy, but still asked, I need to forge a lifelong magic weapon. Then it is best to choose Fortune Iron, which can feed back the soul, and has a certain bonus for cultivators. Lu Xuanji said. Lu Zuanwen nodded, and took away a large piece of the God of Fortune Iron. Later, the Lu family held a banquet, to celebrate the birth of the 6th Purple Mansion cultivator. The whole family was celebrating. After attending the Purple Mansion banquet, Lu Xuanji also began to retreat and began to strive for the half-step golden elixir. Chapter 275, 20 years, half-step golden core. After arranging everything at the Lu family, Lu Xuanji began to close his eyes and strive for the half-step golden elixir. The first step was to compress the true essence and transform it into mana. Mana was only a strand, but it could defeat 3 strands of true essence, with higher quality and stronger attack power. In actual combat, a half-step golden elixir could defeat 3 to 5 Purple Mansion peaks. This step was an extreme test of the cultivator's qualifications. If the qualifications were strong, it might be possible to become a half-step golden elixir in just 20 years. If the qualifications were poor, it might be possible to cultivate for 100 years and still be at the Purple Mansion peak. 3 years later, Lu Xuanji pointed his finger, and suddenly a mana broke through the air, tearing the void, making a hissing sound. As he urged the technique, his whole body was surging, and the three kinds of mana, yellow, green, and red, intertwined together, rising and falling in his body, evolving the supreme mystery, with unspeakable luck and magic. Could it be that I'm really a genius? Xuanji was surprised. In order to transform the true essence into mana, Xuanji spent 20 years, and the elder spent 30 years, but he only spent 3 years. This speed is a bit fast. Could it be that he is really a genius? Genius is manifested in 2 points, one is the terrifying speed of cultivation, and the other is ignoring bottlenecks. Those second generation cultivators, relying on drugs and krypton gold, may be comparable to the speed of cultivation of the heavenly spiritual roots. But when they hit the big bottleneck, they are ecstatic and desperate. They fail after 3 or 5 consecutive attempts. The feeling of despair almost makes people suicidal. But some geniuses break through the bottleneck in an instant when they hit the big realm without any difficulty. Or if they fail once, they will definitely succeed the second time. The heavenly spiritual roots are powerful, not only in the speed of cultivation, but also in ignoring bottlenecks, and it is easy to break through bottlenecks. Before retreating, Xuanji had planned to spend 10, 20, or even 50 years to enter the half-step golden elixir. But now it's good. Only 3 years. This speed is too fast. Suppress the discomfort in his heart. He continued to practice the technique, polishing his true essence, and transforming it into mana one by one. Just now, he could only be regarded as entering the half-step golden elixir. Only when all the true essence in his body is transformed into mana can he gain a firm foothold in the half-step golden elixir. Polishing his true essence, and transforming it into mana. This is an extremely long time, which is extremely time consuming. He cannot use any external force, because any external force is of little use. Time passed by little, and 20 years passed in the blink of an eye. All the true essence in his body was transformed into mana. He took out a ruler, and began to measure his mana. The ruler was changing, 10, 20, 30, 50, and finally rose to 100. 100 Jazi mana. 30 Jazi mana can condense a high-grade golden elixir. But he had 100 Jazi mana, which seemed to be over the limit. He urged the ruler again, and began to measure the quality of his mana. The ruler was changing, and reached the second grid position. The mana of the second transformation of the golden elixir. He was only at the half-step Giandan realm, but his mana was 100 Jazi, and his mana quality reached the second Giandan level. Although he had not yet entered the Giandan realm, he was beyond ordinary Giandan cultivators. His body was emitting waves of glass light, and his body was flawless, like a supreme jade, and like a magic weapon forged, comparable to a third-grade spiritual weapon. Sensing the power of his soul turned into threads and instantly lifted a 500 jin weight. The standard for the perfection of the soul was only to lift a 100 jin weight. In terms of magical powers, he had achieved the great success of the Xuanji heavenly sword, the great success of the pure yang true fire, the great success of the heavenly wood method, and the perfection of the fish dragon 9 transformations. This meant that he had reached the standard of condensing the pill, and could trigger the 3 tribulations, and prove the Dao of Jinden. Not right, not right. I feel that my body still has the potential to advance, my soul can go further, and my mana still has room for improvement. I can continue to polish and improve it. Xuanji took out the creation pill and took it. The medicinal power was being digested, expanding the upper limit of his mana. But the Danshan and meridians only expanded a little bit, and could accommodate a maximum of 1 Jazi of mana. After taking the good fortune pill, ordinary cultivators can increase their mana limit, which can increase from 1 Jazi to 5 Jazi of mana. But he only increased his mana limit by 1 Jazi. Could it be that my aptitude is too good, and the so-called good fortune pill has little effect on me? Xuanji thought. Pills are mainly designed for ordinary cultivators. Cultivators with poor aptitude have poor absorption of medicinal power, resulting in most of the drug effects being wasted. Cultivators with too good aptitude have higher resistance to medicinal power, and the effect of medicinal power is minimal. When I was at the first level of key refining, I was only a little stronger than ordinary cultivators, but I was not a monster. But later, my aptitude continued to improve. Xuanji recalled. I remember that hundreds of years ago, when testing his spiritual roots, he was just an ordinary cultivator with 3 spiritual roots, but his soul power was strong, comparable to the weakest cultivator with 2 spiritual roots. With such aptitude, he is enough to become a genius in the Lu family, and there is hope to build a foundation in the future, and there is also a glimmer of hope to achieve the purple mansion, but the hope is not great. Such a genius is just an ordinary genius in Chu. It's like someone who is admitted to an ordinary university and is definitely a genius, but compared to those students from Tsinghua University and Peking University, he is far inferior. But later, the elder failed to seize the body, but he helped him, and his qualifications improved a lot. Later, the Bushan key contained in the Bushan Ding, and the spiritual liquid of the swallowing heaven Ding improved his qualifications by a large margin. Later, the pure Yang Taoist body was born, and he swallowed the Yuhua Tower spirit, and his qualifications improved again by a large margin. Later, he swallowed the pure Yang sword spirit, and the feedback from the pure Yang broken sword, which improved his qualifications by a large margin. Later, he practiced the 9 changes of fish and dragon, and swallowed the blood of the 9 monsters, and his qualifications improved by a large margin. Now, his qualifications are top notch, comparable to pure-blooded monsters, and the top Xuanji of the human race can proudly say, my son Xuanji has the qualifications to become a god. Before becoming a god, he had almost no bottlenecks. It was precisely because of his terrifying qualifications that he was favored by Xiao Zhenjin and regarded him as a potential Taoist partner. As for the 3 realms after the transformation of the spirit, such as the refining emptiness, the integration of the Tao, and the tribulation, they can no longer be achieved by aptitude alone, but require supreme luck. To a certain extent, a spiritual cultivator and a great man who has integrated the Tao are of the same level in terms of aptitude, but their luck is completely different, belonging to 2 different worlds. Could it be? Lu Xuanji seemed to have thought of something, and his figure flashed and arrived at the martial arts arena. He wanted to confirm his guess in his heart. If the guess was successful, it could help him break through the limit, go further, and lay a solid foundation. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.